Après, tu reviens, moi je pars. Welcome, friends, family, free ride fans. 2021 is off.
On fire.
Yeah. What a journey. It is great to be here. Teeing off with a huge backflip. What was that? Did you hear right now? Nils Mindnich just at home as the big mountain as the park. In the middle of this crazy double section. Yeah!
To make look terrain that is so difficult, and he's going big.
Yeah, Victor.
It is Free Ride Wednesday, and the vibe is high here in Ordino Arcalìs Andorra. My name is Derek Foos. I'm here with Neil Williman, and we are ready to go. Neil, what's going on?
Well, it is sunny, there's fresh snow, we've got riders hiking up the face already. Super excited to see this go down again here today in Ordino Arcalìs, the second stop of the Freeride World Tour to replace unfortunately cancelled Hakuba stop.
Yeah, Andorra, absolutely glorious. We've been here for a week. It has treated us so well. The riders love it, we love it. When I was on my way here, a lot of people are like, Andorra, where is it? What are you even talking about? The Pyrenees Mountains are up in between France and Spain. Ordino Arcalìs is the zone. That's where the ski resort is, the country principality of Andorra, providing us the goods. The riders have been basically filling their down days with action, non-stop skiing. They get up every morning. It's kind of a Groundhog Day. Get up, have breakfast, go shred all day, sleep well. You know, the elevation not super high, so nobody's dealing with elevation issues, but the snow is gorgeous. The views are unbelievable, and we are so psyched to be here in Andorra.
That's right, Derek, and we are back on Pollard, the venue that we had the first competition on, though it is a bit different today. We'll go into that a bit more soon, but first, the competition order.
We're going to run the Snowboard Men first, Snowboard Women right after that, and then we're going to get on with the two ski categories, men, then women, so you can see the times. Obviously, you can do the math to translate those into your own time zones, but super exciting to get the snowboarders on course first. We've got fresh snow, and they're pretty amped to get after it out there.
That's right, fresh snow on the venue today, and a little bit of a crust, unfortunately, but we think that's going to break down pretty soon. Probably a little bit better to be on a snowboard than skis at the moment, and as you can see, the sun is already hitting the venue, so we think that it'll be pretty nice on skis, not too far away as well. Just to get you a bit more information about the venue, although it is in principle the same venue as the one that we had for the previous competition, stop number 1 of the Freeride World Tour here in Ordino Arcalìs. There is fresh snow, and we have another start gate as well, so features have changed. There's no tracks on the takeoffs or the landings. There's no traverse track. We're accessing it a different way, only hiking up the Lookers right side of the venue. You can see the athletes doing it now.
Yeah, so let's dig into it. This is the same venue, the elevations, all of that. Neil, kind of run us through what we're dealing with today.
Well, you can see these amazing drone shots of the venue. So this is starting from start 1, start 2, quite close to it, but a little bit further down to access the Lookers right side of the venue. These are shots, of course, before the snowfall, so that you can see now start 3, the new start for today, from a completely different zone, a different couloir. We're going to see a few riders coming down there today to show the new options I've been presented with, and part of a different venue, so I think there'll be a lot of variety in comparison to the first competition. 310 meters in total, 45 degrees steepness up to the maximum of that, and the finish down at 20, I believe, 20 and 60 meters. So we've got helis buzzing around, riders in the start gate, going to have a forerunner to assess the snow for you and show you how it's all looking.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. The riders definitely generally excited about running this venue again. There's some different strategies in place. Some of them are looking to go back to the well, the ones especially that did it right, that skied to their plan or rode to their plan. Some of them looking to change things completely. Others looking to fix the mistakes that they may have made on stop number 1 on this face. The snow is different. The features are the same, but the way you attack them is going to be totally different. So really interesting to see what some of the strategies are going to be with our tour athletes today on this face. Lots going on, lots to come. We're so excited to get stop number 2 out of the way, or sorry, underway, I should say, not out of the way, because we are stoked to see this happen. You can see this is the only way the riders can access the face, by foot, on foot, right up the side, and there, you know, it's a great way to get warmed up.
Yeah, for sure. You can see the skiers already starting to hike the face. Probably going to take the time, have a look at the features on their way up. A little bit of an advantage that, although not in the venue, they're very close to the venue as they're hiking, and maybe get a last-minute side angle look at one of the features that they want to hit. Snowboarders, though, starting today. Got Snowboard Men coming up at you first, and then Snowboard Women before any of the skiers get on course. Yeah, as you were saying, Derek, then lots of different options today. The snow that's filled in and some of the landings has changed the way that some of the features can be hit, and that's really interesting. We've got Max Palm just about to drop in, our forerunner out of Sweden.
Yeah,
and
Max
on
Palm,
course now.
Young frother, Swedish rider living and skiing out of Les Arcs in France. He foreran the last competition and full send and looking like he's going for it again. He's just got that young kid vibe. He cannot be held back. Max Palm, oh my, well, now we have a bit of an idea of what's going on with the snow. Max Palm going for the full punch front there. That is quite a way to kick off a forerun on the Porte del Rat for Max. Looks like he's all right. Possibly a little bit embarrassed, but you know, that's the way it goes when you're 18 and on the Freeride World Tour as a forerunner.
Yeah, commentators Kerr saying that nothing can hold him back just before the snow held his skis back, unfortunately. You can see it sticking out of the snow just above him, so he's on his way to get that. Let's have a look at the replay now.
Well, he went absolutely huge there. And so I think this is a great opportunity, Neil, for us to just check in on snow conditions. We had a bunch of new snow, but as it often does in the mountains, it came with a bunch of wind. And so what we've seen now, especially with a fairly rapid temperature change overnight and a bunch of wind, is this little bit of a crust develop on the surface. And it's going to be a little bit inconsistent based on exposure and direction and all of those things. So, you know, for Max, like, it looked pretty good at the top where he did that 360. He dug in, the turn worked all right, and then the big air, he put a bunch of pressure on the snow, punched through that crust, and unfortunately underneath it's quite soft, so essentially it acts as a tripwire. So Max delivering some great information there to the riders in spite of the fact that he went down.
Yeah, that's right. As I was saying, maybe
because of it.
Yeah, exactly. See what he's got in this bottom section for us as well. Going a bit further look as the left than he did on the previous forerun. You can see the snow is a little bit inconsistent there. In some places he's going through with his skis, in some places it's not leaving that much of a track. So Max Palm, like you said, very interesting, helpful information for the riders and for us and our own eyes as well. I wonder if that might even potentially mean that we look at putting the competition back a little bit, maybe let the snow soften and that crust break down in the sun. But first we'll hear what Hedvig Gissel's got to say about it.
There's more snow in the face. I'm excited to find a new line for tomorrow.
Yeah, first tip, just gotta close your eyes and envision it. Kind of like free riding. So you envision your line and then cut the outline and dig down. But look at all this dirt in here. Isn't that crazy?
Tomorrow are going to be judged like if it was a brand new competition. We are not going to say, oh, you went into the same line, so you're going to take some points out. It's a completely new one. You want to go on the same track, you want to do something different. It's all down to you and up to you.
So apparently it will be super playful tomorrow. So we are super lucky to have this new snow coming. And it will be a new, beautiful show for sure.
Let's go. This feels just like home for me. I'm psyched. Got some crust underneath, some heavy pow on top. Pacific Northwest, let's go.
Make one big backflip, ride fast, and make a second big backflip.
Ordino Arcalìs, back to you, the studio.
So that was the face it yesterday, and the vibe was high. The riders really excited about the new snow, enjoying riding the new snow as well, and wondering what it's going to look like today. A little bit of information from Max Palm in terms of what it is going to be like today, and the new snow, like you said, Derek, getting a bit of crust on it.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting hearing what Lolo had to say about they are going to reset everything as far as judging goes. They're not going to take what you did in the past into consideration, which I think is a great way to do it. New face, new day, new start. Basically a fresh slate for the riders. The judging, the way they're doing it is quite specific. So I think it's really important for everyone to understand exactly how the judging works in this realm on the Freeride World Tour. All right, so we're just getting the information in our ears based on what we saw there from Max Palm. We are going to let the sun take care of the face a little bit. We're going to let it soften that crust. Right now, we are going to a 15-minute delay of start. So if it was 9:15 before, we're going to be looking at it was 9:30 before, we're going to be looking at 9:45 local time to kick this thing off. Because, as we saw with Max, the crust, a little bit punchy, Neil, and I think the riders would prefer it if it was a little softer.
Yeah, that's right. As they say in Andorra, you've got to have patience to make the right soup.
They do. They do say that. All right, so we're on a little bit of a delay. If you didn't catch that, we're just going to let the snow soften up. You can have a look. You see the start gate there, start 2, and then up into those high couloirs to start 3. And looking over the back, we're looking straight into France. That's the beauty of Andorra, of the Pyrenees. Over one ridge, you can be in a different country, not only changing valleys, and then just beyond that valley is Spain. It all kind of converges. It's such a, I don't know, it's just such a cool mountain range. The way the formations are, super sharp, super aggressive mountains, quite young, I guess, in a geological sense, but pretty exciting for free riding, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. You can see these couloirs from the heli view. Beautiful, open, rippable freeride couloirs, exactly the stuff that freeriders dream of, and the reason that we're here in Ordino Arcalìs, nestled high in Andorran Pyrenees. The riders still hiking up the Looker's right side of the face. I wonder if they have got word that the start is going to be delayed. Maybe having seen Max Palm ride, then they probably won't be too disappointed about that.
Yeah, you know, everybody wants the conditions to be great. So I was kind of alluding to this before, but the judging's super important, obviously, for results, and of course for consistency in terms of competition. So we're going to check in with head judge Dion Newport and see exactly what goes into the judging on the Freeride World Tour.
My name is Dion Newport, and I'm one of the head judges for the Freeride World Tour for 12 years now. The Freeride World Tour judging was created by riders, and the overall impression system is what is all based off, and within that there's 5 criteria. The first criteria is line, which is very important. It really shows where the riders go, if it's more exposed or if it's an easier, more simple line. The second criteria is air and style. That is from the takeoffs to what happens in the air and to the landings. So this incorporates tricks or how they send their features. The third criteria is fluidity. This is super important. It's how the energy of the runners, if they're good flow or if they slow down in between features. The fourth criteria is control. This is very obvious. It's in between the features and their actual control of the whole run. And then the fifth category is technique. Technique is more about how they're getting down the face, if they're side slipping through a feature or if they're really banging turns and showing us good, strong technique. So taking all of these categories into consideration, we go back to that overall impression system, and this is really designed that any rider can win on any day.
It's so good to hear it from the judges' perspective. We say it all the time here on the broadcast, but those people have the toughest job, maybe second toughest job to the athletes in freeride, is taking those criteria, applying it to the face, applying it to the way the athletes are moving down the face. It's so tricky, but I think they've done a great job in breaking it down into the categories. I mean, line, you know, is kind of king or queen, and just everything else kind of stacks on top of that. But, you know, Neil, you had some pretty good insights in terms of like watching the video compared to the categories there.
Yeah, that's right. Fluidity, for example, you had an image of someone stopping on the top of their line. And of course, it's good to be sure where you're going. It's much worse to send something you don't know if it goes. But if you want to have high fluidity score, then you need to be so sure of where you're going that you can just grease right into it, not stop, not hesitate, not side slip. So there's a couple of things in that video that was kind of how not to do things. You know, the control had a picture of Wadeck Gorak's crazy crash into a tree and kicking horse a couple of years ago, and also the shot of I think it was Yann Rausis stopping on the top of the line, also in kicking horse, is what the judges are not looking for, as well as other great shots of what the judges are looking for, the great technique shots and the great air and style shots of going big, being solid in the air and landing it cleanly. So what we're trying to emphasize here is that we want to see people in control, doing things that they can do and doing them really well. And what we don't want to see, what the judges especially don't want to see, but none of us, is people doing things that past the edge of the limit of their ability. You know, maybe they'll land it, but maybe they'll have a big crash. And we don't want to see people getting hurt, putting their bodies on the line. That's what we're trying to emphasize and encourage with the judging criteria there.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that I think the riders look for, and this is something that I've heard a lot of veteran riders kind of passing on to the rookies and the younger riders, is for them to select the line that's going to suit their riding style. Because so many riders, they come into the tour and they're unsure about the judging or what the judges are looking for from them. What the judges are looking for from them is for them to be the best them. And instead of selecting something that you think the judges want to see, it's when you start selecting or choosing the line that really speaks to your riding style. You know, I specifically, I think of Andrew Pollard 2 years ago when he was a rookie. In the first two events, he was really just trying to do it for the judges. And then he found his own style and applied it here, and all of a sudden he found himself a regular appearer on the podium, which for Andrew was just a massive weight off of his mind to recognize and realize that he can just do his thing, and then people are going to like it. And I think that's one of the biggest things for, you know, if you're young free riders out there, maybe you're free ride coaches, you guys probably already know this. The riders need to find their style, they need to identify it, and then they need to place it on any given face. But that's not easy. I mean, Neil, you rode on this tour. We talked about it on the chairlift this morning, that game of putting your competition face on this face or your competitive signature. It's tough.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that something that people don't really realize about scoping lines is, for a start, how much effort and time goes into it. You know, some people ask me, oh, do people even check where they're going to go down before they have a competition? And yeah, they sure do. They put much, much more time into looking and deciding and scoping than they do into the actual riding. You know, that's over in a flash. All the preparation is done. And these drone shots that we've had of the venue are just fantastic, because it really shows you that you can't see what's behind that takeoff. You need to know. You need to be absolutely certain that you have decided already.
This is where visual inspection is A, insanely important, and B, insanely difficult. This drone shot is your chance to get into the rider's mind and view it through the rider's eyes. This is what they're seeing, how blind those takeoffs are, and how, you know, they just know exactly to the nth degree, and watching them study their lines is just fascinating. You know, these drone shots give such a great insight, inside look into exactly what it looks like and what it feels like to be a tour athlete. It's so cool. Big ups to the drone pilots. These these folks are out here. They've got their VR goggles on. They look like they're living in the year 3000 flying these things around the Pyrenees.
That's right. We're focusing up on the start now. You can see the riders choosing their start points carefully as well as their lines. They need to know which features they want to get to and which angle they're going to hit them on. So you might see some riders coming from start 2, the higher start, and then going into the traverse to get to the start 1 features, but it's because they want to hit them on a different angle, part of that whole scoping thing that we've seen before. Because when you're watching and people are sending features and landing nicely, it's like, obviously that's where they're going to land. That's the softest, wide open, steepest landing. Of course, you want a steep landing so the impact is less, but you can't see from the top that that is where you're going to go. So it's much, much more scary and intimidating when you're skiing towards a blind takeoff and just all you can see is the finish gate hundreds of meters below you.
Oh, this is so cool. So the drone just making its way up into start number 2. You can see how rugged these peaks are, so sharp. That little cornice developing. Riders, as we said before, they have to get up there on foot. There's no heli drops, there's no chairlifts in the Freeride World Tour. You got to hike to make your way up there. So having a look at all our riders, If you're just joining us now, we are on a slight hold. We've got a little bit of a wind and temperature shift crust that formed, but we have the sun on the southeast face, and it's going to soften fairly rapidly. So we're looking to kick things off. Next update for you will be at 9:40, as you can see on your screen. The riders, the vibe is high up there. The sun's out. Everyone's ready to throw down. We want to get the conditions right for them so we can get the maximum show for you. You can see the snowboarders. That's our first category dropping today, Snowboard Men, so they are shred ready.
Yeah, there's amazing drone shots and huge ups to these guys for their professionalism and able to fly these race drones so quickly and close to the venue so that we can get great images, both for you at home and for the riders to scope their lines with. It's a big improvement on that. As you were saying, Derek, the riders hiking to the start today, and if you're a young freerider wondering how to get to this level, you want to be on the Freeride World Tour one day, maybe you're looking at entering junior or qualifier comps already, cardio fitness is underemphasized in importance, in my opinion. Being fit is just as important as being strong. Be able to do it all day and not get tired and not be worse at something when you've maybe had to travel or not as had much sleep as you'd like to. You know, you're eating a different diet because you're in a different country. Like, being physically ready in every way apart from just shredding hard and jumping big cliffs is super important.
Yeah, look at Raymond McDermott, just full mountain goat mode up there, hiking his way. It's cool for these riders, the way the setup is here, because they're hiking up the looker's right side of the face. A lot of the spots on the hike give the riders a great alternate view than what they've had from face check of some of their features. So really important, you know, Ray, he's a tactician. He's stopping along the way to check it out. And I hope just to take in the moment. Ray's a young rookie from the U.S. skiing at a basin in Colorado. Taking in these moments, I mean, it's just so cool, so critical for these athletes to just kind of breathe and just enjoy where you are. We're on the Freeride World Tour. We're high up in the Pyrenees in Andorra, you know, above the resort of Ordino Arcalìs, and just kind of recognize how special it is to be able to be here right now. Things are a little topsy-turvy in the world, so to have these moments of kind of reflection in the mountains, I think is so good and also kind of important for free riders, for all of us as staff, for everybody, just to reflect on how things are still pretty good.
Yeah, that's right. One of the veteran World Tour riders once told me that the World Tour is like a wedding. You look forward to it for ages and you plan it with everything you got, and then suddenly it's over before you know it.
Yeah, so checking in, riders' mindsets, but we also want to get into the fans' mindsets. We want you guys to be involved in this process. So, of course, Peak Performance has come up with the ultimate way to get involved. The Peak Performance Fun Bet brings you into the action. Get yourself involved. Get in on it with us.
Hi, Carl Regnér here. I'm a skier on the Freeride World Tour, and my dream is to ski Bec de Ros in Verbier. Again. But this time, all the way down, and make it to the podium. With Peak Performance Fun Bet, you can guess the results on all stops of the Freeride World Tour. And if you do well, there are great prizes to be won. You can also create a private league to compete against your friends. And hey, my final advice, bet on me. And I promise you, I will make a flat 3.
Peak Performance Fun Bet. I hope you got your bets in, Neil. I did. You did. I did. I hope you guys did. It is closed for now. As soon as the webcast starts, it closed, but you can still get on it for Fieberburn. And if you did well after competition number 1, good on you. There were some surprises and some expected, I'd say, results. Definitely matching up with your votes. The world is a little different. The Freeride World Tour is a little bit different. We kind of wanted to bring you guys in the loop. You can see both Neil and I sitting here. We're wearing masks. Masks have become a part of almost everybody's life. But within the differences, I think we found some great ways to keep things the same, in terms of just finding the vibe and keeping everything, moving forward. Pretty exciting, and I have to give some props to the Freeride World Tour just for making it happen in tough times.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been 500 tests performed on athletes and staff over the last week or two, and of course all negative results, no quarantine required, and we've got a contingency plan for if one result was to be positive, but getting regularly tested, keeping to our bubbles. Not quite as social as a Freeride World Tour event usually is, unfortunately, but big ups to the organization for making it happen against all odds. Many events, unfortunately, having to be cancelled, and this one meaning that we can't have a public viewing area or audience, but the best place to view it is from at home, just like you're doing right now. So thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, big up to everyone involved making this happen. So I just want to get back into these drones. I mean, it's just such a crazy cool view. We're going to take a look at Start 3. This is new. We didn't have Start 3 in the mix on the first one. Look how steep it is. Narrow couloir. You can see there's some options on the right, some fins, and then there's that left move if you can get up onto it. This is serious mountain goat territory.
Yeah, I really like the start, actually. I think that if I was starting today, it was the one I would have gone for. Steep, long, kind of committing. You're going to need to display that good technique that we talked about in the judging criteria before to get down it quickly and in control, and get off those features as well, because they have a steep takeoff, which means you have to have them lined up perfectly, land in that steep landing, and be able to shut your speed down in a way that can get you to the next feature. So really interesting start. I'm looking forward to seeing some people start from there. I think you were saying that Ray, the young American skier we saw on the ridge before, is planning to go up there.
Yeah, Ray McDermott, given the heads up last night at dinner that he wanted to go to Start 3, he kind of was explaining to me, and I'm sure we'll get deeper into it, that suits his style better. You know, as we got lower into this face and the features were a little bit more compressed, a little bit closer together, you know, kind of like we alluded to before, it shifted from the style that he likes to ski or wants to ski. So he's looking for that big, open, big mountain terrain. See Olivia McNeil making her way up, the young rookie out of Whistler, representing the Whistler Freeride Club, doing them proud, doing us proud. For those of you that don't know, I've been working with Olivia since she was 11 years old, and to see her make the Freeride World Tour this year and then have that debut with an almost banging run, just falling apart as the ski came off at the bottom. Pretty exciting for all of us, and I'm sure for the Whistler Freeride Club family back home, pretty cool to see. But of course, every athlete wants their shot at the podium. Lots of big plans brewing out there. Neil, definitely some different ways of looking at it, different kind of strategies brewing up from some of the athletes.
Yeah, that's right. It's great to see some young freeriders that are not necessarily freestyle focused, because it's a bit of a new generation thing where, you know, everyone that's a bit younger, spent a bit more time in the park, seeing backcountry freestyle and videos as they're growing up, you know, they want to ski like that. And to have some people like Ray McDermott, like Tom Pfeiffer be like, yeah, I'm still one of the young guns, but I like skiing rad, fast, heavy, big mountain lines, you know, like Reine Barkered does, one of the veterans of the tour. And I really like to see that.
Yeah, exactly. It just goes to show that freestyle is one element of this, but it is not the defining element. And to see a guy like Ray, as young as he is, have his style in his own mind really pretty locked in. And, you know, as you said, he's coming in and he's looking at a guy like Reine Barkered as kind of his role model in this world. Aymar Navarro is another one that really springs to mind with that style of skiing. So yeah, as you said, it's cool to see that still coming. It was really interesting. I listened to a podcast where they interviewed Nicholas Hale-Woods, the CEO of the Freeride World Tour, and one of the questions that he was asked was, do you think there's room for the old style of freerider who doesn't grow up doing this either competitively or even in the mountains? You know, it used to be, at least in North America, you'd move, you know, from the prairies or out east to the mountains. You'd take a few years to get good, then you'd start competing. It would take you a few years to get good at that, and then you start having success at competition. But now, all over the world, North America, Europe, New Zealand, even in South America, Japan for sure, we've got these freeride clubs where kids are being coached from the get-go on great technique, on how to ski these big lines, both safely and in a way that is just unbelievably impressive. And the skill set that they have coming out of juniors is essentially, I'm going to just call it mind-blowing. And Nicholas was like, no, this is the way it is now. It's going to be very difficult for somebody to just dive in without that pedigree and find success when the level is so high. And we've seen it with our own eyes on this face, both in the last event and today with Max Palm. Max is one of the strongest juniors coming out of Europe. And watching him ski around this resort over the last few days with the tour riders, Neil, eye-opening.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not exactly lagging behind the touring riders, sorry. So we've got another forerunner coming up to follow up on Max Palm, starting out at start number 2 in a couple of minutes. But yeah, just like you were saying, we've had a couple of people that weren't able to make it, unfortunately, due to injuries. Leo Slemmet springs to mind as one of those, and exactly one of the things that you were just saying with kids coming up out of coaching clinics and clubs, you know, having seen freeride since they're a young age and having seen that it's a viable career path to have freeride as something you do as a job and train towards. So Leo Slemmet, you know, one of the guys that first came up through the juniors with a good mix of big mountain and freestyle, and eventually becoming world champion through that avenue. However, unfortunately, they're not able to join us, getting injured in Switzerland a few weeks ago. And happy that it wasn't a more serious injury, but unfortunately cannot compete here today. And Gigi Roof as well, bruising his ribs, I think, in North America just after natural selection. Also got Sam Lee out with concussion. Head injuries are unfortunately not particularly well understood part of the sport, something that's really important. And something it took Micheal Oliver 2 years to come back from before he qualified and came second a few days ago. I think we've got another couple of people out with injuries as well and COVID restrictions.
Yeah, I mean, Claire McGregor unfortunately going down hard in the first stop here in Ordino Arcalìs, and she's got a sore knee. She's elected to go the safe route and not look to put any further damage on that knee. She's got her eyes on Fieberbrunn already, so the hope for her is that she's going to heal up, and we're going to see her back in the start gate in Fieberbrunn. You know, I have to give a lot of props to Claire. Talking to her over the last couple of days, watching her move around, clearly in pain, but trying to gut it out. Really, you know, she's done the hard yards to qualify for the Tour, and then to have that knee injury that is potentially not a season ender, but still just she's in a lot of pain. You know, she's talking to the doctors and discussing, will I injure it further if I compete? And of course, no one can give a dead set clear answer on that. Maybe, maybe not. You have to listen to your body. And so I really want to give props to Claire for doing that, for paying attention to her body, to making sure that she's going to be 100%, because you never know. And if sometimes you push too hard too early on an injury, then it just lingers around for ages.
Yeah, exactly. The more you rest it and look after it at first, the less you have to wait afterwards. So big ups to Claire. And shout out to the McGregor family in New Zealand. Got another forerunner just about to drop on course. Got a snowboard forerunner today, one of the locals, and something the snowboarders were specifically asking for, to get a snowboard version of the snow.
Yeah, I think this is absolutely critical. When we have the snowboarders dropping first, having a snowboard forerunner is going to give them a great sense. Tame Dog right off the top. No trouble with the crust there for our forerunner. So this is a really good indication for our riders. For the snowboarders, we've got Hugo Serra dropping first. So he'll be hopefully breathing a sigh of relief watching this forerunner. And this is an interesting kind of little fact in the freeride world. So in a crust, possibly a little bit easier to ride on a snowboard because you don't have the two skis. You know, it's not possible for your snowboard to track off in two different directions. So the snowboarders potentially able to handle the crust situation that we've got a little bit more easily than the skiers would. And having the snowboarders running first is perfect, because by the time the skiers run, we'll have the surface cut up a little bit by the riders, and also the sun will have had a bit more effect. So I feel that snowboard forerun has just pumped new life into the riders at the top, especially, you know, all our snowboard athletes. Seeing that athlete go down there, they're going to have a big sigh of relief and know that the conditions are rippable on the face.
Yeah, big ups to the Tame Dog front flip off the top here. Having seen the last forerunner go down and just committing to a cheeky wee trick up the top is good to say. But like you're saying, Derek, the fact you can't unevenly punch through with one ski going down and one ski not punching through. When you're on a snowboard, it stays the same level. It's not necessarily like perfectly easier, but less hazardous, I might say, than on skis. So yeah, good sign for maybe getting the snowboard competition off and underway soon-ish.
Yeah, so just to give you a little glimpse behind the curtain, what we're going to have is our forerunner who just ran, he's in the finish, is going to pick up a radio, and he's going to connect with our commissioner of the Freeride World Tour, Lola Bess, who holds the ultimate red light, green light box in his hand. They're going to discuss the conditions, how things are right now, where things are progressing to. They're going to make a call within the next 5 minutes. Whether you're there, you can see whether we are going to kick this thing off ASAP or whether we're going to stay on hold. There's Lolo on the radio and the rest of the judging panel looking on. Everyone anxiously awaiting the start of this competition. So it really kind of comes down to the decision made right now. And I'll tell you what, they don't take these decisions lightly.
That's right, Lolo, both head judge and commissioner. Also got Bertie Danevol, veteran
first run,
Swiss
I wasn't
rider.
so sure, but after that run, I think it's okay. Like the crusty layer is definitely softened up, so I think it's on.
Well, there you have it. I hope you had your ears perked up. It sounds like the Forerunner's recommendation. Now, obviously, the judges and the commissioner are going to run that by the panel, but sounding like the green light, we're tentatively moving towards the green light there, at least in the Forerunner's eyes, and from what we saw, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to finish off the introduction of the judging panel that we had before, Laurent Gauthier out of Canada, from World Tour rider, having podiumed on the Bec de Ross, the finals of the Free World Tour before, and Dion Newport, veteran judge out of New Zealand. So great crew of very knowledgeable judges there, and hopefully Laurent Bess, one of the head judges, the snowboarder himself, has appreciated that snowboard forerunner and is about to give the green light for the competition.
Yeah, that crew is exactly who you want. If you're a rider, if you're an athlete on the Freeride World Tour, that is the crew you want watching you. They have such a depth of experience from judging, from riding, from watching, all of it. They know exactly what they're looking at. They know exactly how hard each of these features is. You know, spending a lot of time with the judges, it's really cool to see their process on studying the face so that when the riders drop, they know to the T exactly what's going on, who's doing what, how hard it is. Because, you know, the riders, I guess the ultimate for the riders is to take something kind of easy and make it look really hard, but the judges know, they see through the smoke screen. They know exactly what is going on out there.
So we have just got word that we are looking to start this competition in 5 minutes at 9:55. We're hoping to drop the first rider, which will be Hugo Serra, the winner of the FWT, the Freeride World Qualifying Series for Region 1 last year. So hopefully that is going to go off in 5 minutes. We're really looking forward to it ourselves, and we bet you are too.
Oh yeah, Hugo kicking things off. The butterflies just kicked in for me and for sure for the riders when you have the certainty that it's on. So the Snowboard Men are dropping first. Let's take a look back previously on Snowboard Men.
What? With a huge spin. Was that yeah, A-pole in it.
Absolutely speeding into that first journey. Youth on fire in the Snowboard Men's category. Seeing Cody there, second-year rider, Blake Moller, first-year rookie, and Nils Mindnich rounding out the podium there. What a show we had. I can't say enough about how difficult the conditions were and how good they made it look. It was tough going out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, the Snowboard Men field just firing right now. Cody Bramwell riding for Great Britain, taking out the top spot. Blake Moller, second in his first ever competition. Nils Mindnich, second time on the Freeride World Tour, no stranger to the podium. And then Victor Delarue, he's been a champ before, but he's struggling to get on the podium right now.
Yeah, this is our overall rankings, as you probably have figured out, also the same as our event rankings were after event number 1. Micheal Mawn, another rookie, and then we're seeing Gigi Roof in there. Gigi not able to show up, but we're going to see him in Fieberbrunn soon. So really exciting stuff in the Snowboard Men's category. It's absolutely stacked with talent from top to bottom. And I feel like more than ever this year, on any given competition day, it truly is anyone's game.
Yeah, just Snowboard Men are so hot right now.
I want to kind of chat, Neil, maybe about some of the differences between experience and rookie froth. You know, we look down this list, and you really have both. Hugo and Blake right off the bat, that's your rookie froth, couldn't be more. But then experience, Sammy Luebke, he's won everything there is to win. He's won the Tour, he's won events, he's won on the back 3 times in a row. I mean, Sammy is the epitome of experience. Micheal Mawn, another rookie. I mean, it just goes on and on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously very dominated by America and France in this category, but there's a reason. They've got really strong snowboard culture there. And the fact that Sammy is so experienced and maybe prefers big faces kind of reminds me of Reine Barkered, if you can say he's the Reine Barkered of the snowboard category. Him, Reine, and Drew Tabke being the 3 most veteran riders on the tour. But Sammy, a 3-time world champ, not doing so well in the last couple of competitions, and probably the reason why he hasn't been voted by you guys to be on the podium today. We've got Victor de la Rue, 79% of the votes say he'll be on the podium, even though he didn't make it in the last competition. Nils Mindnich, 62, and jumping up in there, Cody Bramwell, after his win in the last competition, only just behind the second-year veteran Nils Mindnich now.
Yeah, this is what you think. These are percentages of you that think that these riders are going to appear on the podium. So Victor de la Rue, you still love him. We love him too. Everybody wants to see Victor on the podium, except for maybe the other 2 guys on that screen and the other 7 guys at the top of the face right now. But they do love to share the podium. And you know, as much as this is a competition, it's a real family, the Freeride World Tour. And while they're competitors for the 2 minutes that they're on course, the rest of the time, everybody hangs together, watching them do their face check together, checking the checking the drone shots and the photos and everything. They're very open with each other, and I think there's something in the shared risk that everyone is taking that really brings that sort of family feel to it. Everyone wants to do well, but they want their friends to do well too. The best thing that we can hope for is everybody lay down their absolute hammer run and leave it in the judges' hands, which is unfortunate for the judges because that makes it hard. But for the riders, for the fans, for us in the commentary booth, that's what everyone's looking for.
Absolutely. And you just saw on the subject of photos before, the drone flying past Dom Day here, one of the photographers that makes all those amazing images for the Freeride World Tour. Got Jeremy Bernard up in the helicopter getting shots as well. And I don't know if you've seen the shots yet from the last competition, but they are banging. So check them out when you get a chance.
Insane. Those guys are truly artists, and to see what they capture just event after event after event out of the heli from the bottom side on. I mean, the riders love it because they're essentially on a Powder Magazine film shoot or photo shoot, but while they're doing their event, and every single time they just get this plethora of insane photos and of course the moving pictures. But one of the coolest things to come out of this tour is just the imagery of the action of the riders and of this beautiful landscape that we get to play in.
All right. So Hugo Serra in the gate right now, the French rookie. Doing reasonably well in the first competition, looking to step it up in this second one here in Ordino Arcalìs. He is going to be fired up right now, having seen that last rider, the Forerunner, just show that the snow is starting to look good. He's going to want to show that he can do something even better than the last competition. He already had 360s and big airs under his belt, but I think he's going to be looking to step it up and send today.
Yeah, Hugo, he did his whole qualifying campaign in North America, and we are underway. Freeride World Tour stop number 2 is on. Hugo Serra on course.
Yeah, buddy, riding straight out to the lookers right, riders left, where we saw Max Palm go, airing off the same air and tweaking the method. Really nice to see, lining up the same cliff as well.
Yeah, same one that we saw Max going for the 3 there. Now Hugo dead clean on the landing. Hugo Serra putting a stamp on this competition right off the bat. Great to see him. He was pretty psyched after the last one. He's a tall man. He's a powerful rider on his board. You can see the snow's moving around, the crust not seeming to have any effect on Hugo as he comes into this lower section.
And coming off the pop that we saw Ross test a backflip, putting a 3 down, but unfortunately a front flip straight away afterwards, getting a bit caught up sideways in that crust, maybe going even bigger than he realized, and probably not going to be so stoked with that, but making it look fun with the slashes on the way to the finish line.
Yeah, just a slight over rotation on that 360 for Hugo. As you said, possibly just a touch bigger than he expected to go. It's hard to know when you've done only visual inspection how hard to set a rotation. So let's look at this top one, tweaking the method. That's a great way to get your run started for Hugo. You know his adrenaline just went through the roof at that point.
And a nice backside 3 there as well, straight to bolts. This last feature going for a frontside 3, but unfortunately coming unstuck. Maybe a little bit more catching that landing, a bit more wind effect in that area, could be.
Yeah, I think so. And with the crust the way it is, you're going to have to land absolutely perfectly in the fall line. You can see judging criteria, all pushing into the green, control a little bit down, Aaron style up with a backside 3 and a frontside 3, just that little bit of over rotation, and the crust is going to be ruthless today with that. If you're not in the fall line, it's going to grab you. 47.33 for Hugo. He's going to be disappointed with that. It was a banging run, unfortunately just coming unstuck at the end, which is going to be hard to swallow for him, knowing how good things were going.
Yeah, exactly. Just below 50, which would be the score if you just rode down fast, aggressively, and good technique.
Well, a look at the face and a look at our next rider as we get this absolutely glorious shot from way back. It's just so beautiful here in the Pyrenees. So we're going to move back up to the start gate. Young rookie Blake Moller. Blake, I can't say enough about his debut on the tour. I heard that it was going to be strong. We kind of knew, you know, but he's a rookie, and so you never fully know until you know. And when he pushed out of the start gate on his very first Freeride World Tour run, eyebrows went up. He finished second only to Cody Bramwell, and it was with authority. Huge backflip, everything he does, absolutely stellar. Blake Moller on course.
Just ollieing out of the start gate there, so comfortable in the steeps. Star Rider's not always so technical, but Blake Moller can do both with a big 3 like that. Back 3 off that nugget in the middle of the chute section, and now making his way straight to the next nullies.
Yeah, so Blake wants to win. He's had a taste of second now. Spinning into the double, 180 out and clean. Oh, Blake just going ultra technical on this Port del Rat face. He wants it. Oh boy, does he. Blake now launching over that entire section and clean again. What a run from the rookie Blake Moller.
Yeah, Blake Moller, what a combination. Steep, technical, and style. That is going to be right up there. I'm so impressed. 180 in cab, 180 into that double. And holy something is what he's got to say about it. I think he is going to be psyched right now.
I mean, let's take a look at this. That 3 right out of the top over the exposure. Can't say enough of it. Now, you look, he's adjusting. He's having a look. 180, half cab, and immediately he had no time to do anything but stomp that. The only way it could have gone was right. And then huge over the bottom, transferring over all of it. Look at the line score. Line score through the roof. I mean, he could not have picked a more difficult way down. This is just a spectacular line. If you looked at the Freeride World Tour judging handbook on how to do well in a competition run, Blake Moller just aced it. That was textbook.
Boys back home, shout out, Mom, Dad, let's go.
So psyched, the young man changing up the sticker job on his board for this one.
Boom, Blake Moller with authority, second man out of the gate. We're already into the 90s, 92.33. That is going to be a tall order for anyone else to beat, but luckily everyone else is also awesome. But Blake Moller just put his stamp on this competition, and every single rider up there on notice that the rookie is here to play, and he wants a win. He got a second. He was stoked. He was really stoked to finish that way. But boy, Blake Moller putting the hammer down. All right, well, from rookie froth to veteran experience, Sammy Luebke has won everywhere. He's won everything. He wants to win here today. 9 seasons on the Freeride World Tour, former champion multiple times, and he is on course. Let's see what Sammy's got for us.
Super aggressive through this top section. Going a little bit further, look his left and airing into the chute, doubling through there, airing over the old crown wall and going big off the bat.
Oh, what, as you said, aggressive riding from Sammy Luebke. This is a great way to start boning out the grab there. Sammy getting himself a face shot. Looking, he wants it super bad. Now into this ultra gnarly section, flying out the bottom. Sammy Luebke adding the freestyle element there with the tweak. Look at this drone shot. Let's follow Sammy down.
Classic Sammy Luebke run there. Steep and technical up the top, full of style, creative, finding side hits. And he's not done yet with a nice 360 down the bottom. Sammy Luebke, welcome back.
Yeah, you can always count on Sammy to have that just perfect blend of just raw aggression and the playful freestyle side of it. It's such a cool way, I think, of interpreting his own style on the mountain. And he's one of these guys that you can just see from a mile away and know exactly who it is. The way he rides is so distinct. So Sammy, he's down at the bottom. Hopefully stoked to wrap things up.
Airing into that couloir at the top. I don't think you can see that he had to make that second air. He had to go a little bit further and made it just, putting the grab in on this one as well, getting the Indy, tweaking that. And like you see, a deep face shot for this side air as well. Just looking so stylish in that deep snow. You can see there's a little bit of a crust still, but not going to catch him out.
Yeah, Sammy knows exactly what he's got to put into it. So you can see his line there. Pretty fall line, pretty straightforward. The only time he deviates from the fall line is to get to the next feature, and that's one of the hallmarks of that fluidity category in the judges' criteria. They don't want to see you zigzagging, meandering, dilly-dallying around the mountain. They want to see you moving towards something for a purpose, and that is exactly what Sammy Luebke just did.
Sammy Luebke, 78 points, sitting in second place right now. Welcome back to the veteran. I think he was last in the last competition, so what a way to get back into the game. Wanted to give a shout out to his 2 young daughters as well, already ripping on snowboards. Sammy Luebke sending hammers today.
Ah, the glory of the Pyrenees. We are here at stop number 2 on the Freeride World Tour. We are underway in the Snowboard Men's category. We've had 3 riders go down. Sammy Luebke was the last one. Blake Moller right now sitting in the hot seat. And Hugo Serra with a great run, just coming a little bit undone at the bottom. We're going back to Rookie Town. We just went from ultimate experience back to the rookie, Micheal Mawn. Michael, definitely an advocate of the raw big mountain style. He likes to get techie. He likes to billy goat his way through the gnar, essentially. Michael, he's just so stoked to be here. Every time I hang out with him, he's got a huge grin on his face. He's just taking it all in. He's making friends, you know, the other rookies, the veterans. He's just such a pleasure to be around. And when you watch him push out of the start gate, you're just like, wow, is that the same guy?
Such a nice guy. In real life, such an aggressive guy on a snowboard, coming straight down to this Sam shoot that we saw Sammy get into, but airing from the side and just tripling off the wee crown wall there, not making the transition that Sammy popped to, but sending it real nice.
Yeah, almost using the ledge for the transition. Big back 3 there. Micheal Mawn, he's another rookie who wants a podium on this tour. Every single one of them earned their way on. Taking the corner of that with the grab now. Straight to fall line. Micheal Mawn, look at this run. Whoa. Another huge one. Woo-hoo-hoo, Micheal Mawn, he's on it.
Turning the double into a triple, just keeping it pinned in the bottom section. He looks like he is having a good time, and I think he is going to be so pumped as he comes through that finish line. The nerves in the start gate to the elation in the finish corral. Wow, it's all go here. Micheal Mawn, the sun god rider, giving a big hug to his buddy Blake. These guys grew up together, lived together, competed together. Known each other since about 12, I think.
Let's just take a look at this. Airing in, airing out, skipping over. Michael so strong, so centered, so balanced. This back 3 above. There was no room for error there, and there was no error. Such an aggressive line, and then this bottom section. Look at the way he just checks up his speed enough to keep control. We talked before about lines. The judges don't want to see you deviating from the fall line unless you're going for something. This is textbook for that. Absolutely bang on. Fluidity and control off the charts on the judges' criteria. Neil, I don't know if you, if either of us really paid enough homage to this, but his heel side turn at the bottom, where he dug the rail in almost to his boots and just arced through the crust, didn't look to shake him at all. That was, I'm going to say, mastery of snowboard technique. Let's see what the judges thought.
75.33 sitting in third just now. Micheal Mawn, potential podium contention. Seems happy with the run. Blake Moller not troubled in the hot seat, but damn, the level is already high today.
This snowboard men's category is just so strong right now. Every single rider so far out of the gate, they're so strong, they're so aggressive. True athletes of the mountain craft. As you see, speaking of athletes of the mountain craft, Reine Barkered just taking it in, trying to put some last minute, finishing touches on his creation, but we do need to go back up to the top, and this is a man that cannot be ignored. Victor De La Rue, he's a big mountain specialist, he's a mountain goat, he's ridden some of the gnarliest lines around the world, but also really, really comfortable with the freestyle element of snowboarding. He can kind of go either way and often blends the two together in such an inspiring way. A lot of these other rookie riders, they say they got on tour and they're just looking at Victor and say, I can't believe I'm here with you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have him there. Looking like the snow's getting a little bit cut up at the start number 2, but Victor making short work of it, no trouble for him. Spinning a back 3 there and just stomping so clean. Looks like it's a little bit crusty in here. You were saying it's maybe not the best day to put things sideways.
Yeah, but Victor having no trouble with it. Seeing, you know, you can see the slough moving. Now getting over top of this double, spinning in and checking up a little bit, staying on his feet, airing out. Victor De La Rue through that ultra technical section, nice and clean here as he comes down towards this large feature at the bottom. What is Victor thinking here?
Whoa, yeah, Victor De La Rue sending one of the biggest airs on the face, one of the hugest bottom sections that you get into, and he is not done yet. He is coming over to the Tom Pfeiffer zone, I'm going to call it. He's got another couple of awesome little features down here, making the most of it with the indie grab, but I think we didn't see any snowboarders hit that feature in the last competition, and Victor De La Rue stepping it up now.
Across the finish line and another strong run, and one of my favorite hallmarks of this particular competition face, and Victor just showed us exactly the ability to be creative. So many different opportunities. Landing there, absolutely clean. And then Victor coming, spinning into this. I think he was looking to go full 180 there. Not quite able to get around, bringing it to his heel side edge now.
Super solid run, but just like you said, I think that he was looking to do what Blake Moller did. And the fact that he obviously tried and didn't quite pull it off is probably going to hurt his score. Amazing run apart from that, but I think because of that, it won't trouble Blake in the hot seat.
Yeah, the judges are like hawks at a high elevation. They see everything, they miss nothing, and that is definitely going to come into play. You can see it on control and fluidity there for Victor, and a little hit on technique as well. So the two of them, Blake and Victor, just chatting away. I mean, the camaraderie, like I said, the shared risk, all of these guys, they're so excited to do this together, and they want to share the stories when they're standing waiting for their scores. So now Victor just anxiously waiting to see what the judges thought and chatting away with Blake.
Yeah, Victor's bottom feature really cool, taking so much speed out of that big cliff to one big arc of a turn over to the bottom section with a bigger air than some of the other riders have been taking.
So 92.33, that was Blake Moller's score. This is the hardest working group of people in freeride right now. And not to take anything away from the event crew that set this all up, but the judges right now have all eyes on them. 76 flat for Victor De La Rue.
Putting himself just in front of Micheal Mawn and for potential for a podium with 3 riders left to go.
Well, here we go, back to the top. Speaking of experience, Camille Armand, he did not have the run he wanted last time. He went for that massive backflip off the top and not able to hold on to it. But I am not going to snooze on this guy. I believe that he is a threat to stand on top of the podium at any one of these events. He's a former tour rider. He's been off doing film projects and riding for himself for a while. He's back here now, wild-carded on, but man, he is a risk for all the other riders anytime he drops in. He's so strong. And I'm going to call him, even though he's a wild card, he's kind of rookie-ish, but he's a veteran. He's got the mind game. He knows what to do. He knows how to do it. Let's see what Camille Armand has on store for us today.
That's right. It's his 4th season on the tour, so rookie back in the first year, but no shortage of experience in the past. Getting to a new zone we haven't seen people go into yet before. A little bit further look is right. What's he got teed up for us here?
Oh, it's so steep there. You can see he's just trying to make his way down. Now keeping things controlled. Backflip for Kemi. Almost punching through, but holding onto it. That's veteran, and that is that's core strength right there. He's been doing his sit-ups and his planks. Camille Armand holding on when his board broke through and continuing down to just lay waste to this line.
Yeah, putting in a nice method there. So mute, sorry, grab, and lining up the same big air. Needs some speed off this one and got it. Stomping, celebrating. He is pretty psyched to have landed that one. Landing, I think, pretty much or partially in the bomb hole of Victor De La Rue. Not easy to stomp in somewhere someone else has already landed. Big ups to Camille Armand.
Yeah, it looks like, as you said, bang on in Victor's bomb hole. Hopefully catching the good side of it where he just adds a little bit of extra slope to the transition. Let's go back up here, though. What a way to start a run.
Yeah, hands down a little bit. I think that'll like kind of dock his control in the judging criteria, but not as much as the points he'll win from that backflip and this huge air.
Yeah, just catching the back of that, that was solid, and you can see he's really happy. Definitely not stoked to not put down his dream run on the first stop here in Ordino Arcalìs. So Camille, really happy to put that down top to bottom. I'm just so impressed with the physicality, with the strength and fitness that he showed up at the top, stomping that backflip, not letting the crust take it away from him again.
Yeah, big ups to like go down on a backflip in the last competition and just back yourself to flip off something even more technical this time. You know, the mental strength is such an important factor in this game, and Camille Armand, no shortage of that. You can see the concept shop out of Chamonix, where Camille's from, sticker on his board. Shout out to those guys, always looking after the World Tour when we come to town.
This is one of the toughest moments for any tour rider, waiting to see what the judges thought of your run. 72.67 for Camille Armand, so that is going to push him into 5th place currently, but we are not done yet.
So it's just behind Micheal Mawn, who is just behind Victor Delarue. So yeah, also that person is just behind Sammy Luebke. So we've got 6 points separating 4 people. It is tight up in there, but Blake Moller sitting pretty in the hot seat right now.
All right, so we had a chance to catch up with our last event winner and current tour leader, Cody Bramwell. Let's take a look at what's going on in Cody's head.
Leader's bid feels crazy, but it feels like it's super nice to put down a good run, like first comp. Like it will give me a bit more confidence, and I just want to keep it going and just keep on trying to go for that win every time now.
Cody Bramwell almost in disbelief to find himself in that golden bib. You know, he's got the riding talent for sure. The mental game for Cody seems to have just stepped to a new level. Last year he was riding for good finishes. This year he's riding for wins, and the way he came out of the gate in the last event showed that. And while his after comp brain couldn't catch up with the fact that he's done it, his competition mind, the inner beast, was certainly backing himself, was ready to go, and he just did his exact plan. It was so clean. You cannot say enough about Cody Bramwell, and he's in the golden bib, and he deserves to be.
That's right, pushing out of the start gate now. He's shaking his head in the interview because he was so in disbelief of having won the last comp. What's he got for us here today? Coming straight into the steep gnarly section. Starting out of start 1 though, the lower start. And looking to line up this first hit that we saw Camille Armand just hitting. Managing to make turns through there though, where Camille was side slipping. So I think that's going to be an important factor in the judging. And a nice front 3 with the indie grab, or was it mute, to get off that top feature.
The jump turns up there, so technical. The judges are going to eat that up. Now coming into this double, Cody figuring out the best line, moving across in the other direction. We saw Ross Tester going a similar way. Oh, Cody getting tangled up in the crust there. Unfortunately, burying the nose and just flipping over the front of his board. This is the risk of going into uncharted territory today. The crust, a huge 3 there for Cody, and just another slight over rotation. The crust is not going to allow that. You can't get away with it today.
Yeah, just unfortunately not Cody's day today, going down twice. I think that crust, like you say, and the fact that it's a little bit flatter in some of the landings that he chose. Ross Tester really strong legs to land that one in the last competition, but Cody is landing really flat in the steep crust and the first person to go there. So digging his nose in, not any fault of his own, just a little bit too heavy of a landing.
So what a way to get things started. We saw Cody making those ultra technical jump turns way high up. And then here, he dug, he almost had it, but then when it dug again and he was already a little out of balance, unfortunately, no way. Now you can see slight over rotation, the board dips and down again. It's just, the precision required with the snow conditions today is perfection is the only thing that will that you'll get away with. So fluidity and control there down for Cody. Line super high, style and air and style, of course, great. He's got great style, but Cody not going to be a win again, not backing up the win, but man, you can just see that he's riding for the wins now. Cody definitely looking, he's got the, you know, the wolf has tasted blood and now he wants some more.
That's right. Dad out of England, mum out of Sweden, lives in Greece for summer. He's an all-round man, and I'm sure he'll be back for another comp.
And then there was one. Nils Mindnich, he was on the podium. He lost all his gear making his way here. He's gotten it all back, so he's pretty happy to be dropping in on his own boots and his own snowboard, wearing his own underwear. All of that is just a little bit nicer for Nils. Now, if he managed to come third in that stressful situation, I can only imagine what he's got in store for us today. Nils just loves to ride. He's always so stoked. He is our reigning freeride World Tour champion, and he would like nothing more than to back that up with another title.
That's right, podium already this season, sitting third overall. How's he going to look after today? We've seen some of the riders that did well crash, some of the riders that crashed last time do well. Nils Mindnich, can he shake it up here? He's got a shot at being in the Golden Bib after this event, starting it off with a 180.
Yeah, so we're seeing now Nils riding switch in this ultra tech section and going for the half cap there. Nils Mindnich, oh man, I mean, he's bringing the style into the steeps, doing that stuff where it's so steep. You can't say enough about how difficult that is.
Spinning a nice back three off that one as well, just looking so smooth and controlled, almost like he's cruising, but I can tell you it is not cruise territory, these airs he's hitting. He's just making them look easy.
Yeah, I would say that's the hallmark of Nils' style, making the impossible look easy. Getting the grab there, but just going up, I'm going to say a little too far. That landing, the tide goes out quickly on it, and it's quite short to have the good transition. But the method there at the bottom, just showing his classic style, making sure the base of his board gets on camera. So Nils, super clean, and then with one small mistake. Interesting to see what the judges do with that banger line, but definitely not dead perfect.
Yeah, steezing it out at the bottom, but it's going to be interesting to see where he falls in those four guys in the 70s. This top hit, loved that. So steez, so smooth, and then that huge air further down, just coming a little bit unstuck on the landing. Like you said, Derek, I think it went a little bit too far and the landing starts to get a bit flatter. We love seeing people go huge, but we even more love seeing people stomp.
Yeah, and that one, precision required there because it is a short transition before the tide goes out and it gets flat. But it's hard when you're up there and you know it's big, you don't want to land on the rocks, so you just give it that little extra crack of throttle, and unfortunately Nils unable to hold on. You can see the judges seeing the same thing. Air and style technique all high, but control a little bit of a knock there, so we'll see what kind of numbers the judges come up with for Nils.
Blake Moller anxiously sitting in the hot seat, but I think he's about to take the Golden Bib.
Blake, Nils, Blake. I think you may be right. The worst Blake can do now is second, and that seems unlikely as we wait on Nils' score. So you can see Sammy Luebke sitting in second, Victor De La Rue in third, Mr. Micheal Mawn in fourth place. So we'll see where Nils slots in with a bit of a fall. Both Michael and Cammy were clean. We'll see if the line score and the air and style is able to step over those guys with a little bit of a bobble. In Nils is around 68.67 for Nils Mindnich, which means that he is sixth, and also means that Blake Moller, the rookie, is a winner on the Freeride World Tour. We backed him. We knew it was coming. We didn't know it was going to maybe come this soon, but wow, Blake Moller putting his stamp on this tour, and you said it, Neil. He's going to be moving into the Golden Bib.
Yeah, Blake finally got a smile on his face. I think the first few moments were disbelief, but he's stepping out of the hot seat into the winner's interview, and that smile is slowly overtaking his face.
Blake Moller, buddy, you just won a Freeride World Tour stop in your first season. Tell us how you are feeling right now.
Juiced. I was nervous watching all those insane boarders go after me, but I'm freaking stoked. We got loose, but it was pretty lit, so I'm fucking juiced. And I like it.
Yeah, Blake, we're really stoked for you. It's been amazing to see you ride around these last few days, just sending everything. Sometimes I see tracks that are just left in the resort somewhere, and it's a snowboard track, and I'm like, whoa, that looks pretty gnarly. I think that was probably Blake, and now you've taken it to a World Tour comp and won. I mean, like, did you think that this was even a possibility when you turned up here?
I was just really hopeful, but it's pretty insane that it came to life, so I'm super excited.
Well, huge props to Blake Moller. I mean, we're just so excited for you. Riding your riding shows a passion that is pretty refreshing, pretty exciting, you know, to see on the tour. How do you feel the rookie froth kind of compares with the veteran experience? Do you feel like you kind of have the enough veteran in you to get it done here? Obviously, the judges think so.
I don't think I'd call it veteran. I think it's just good energy. I think everyone just kind of bounces off each other, and good energy lasts a mile, so that's it pretty much.
Well, I think that the judges agreed with you, and I know the fans agreed with you, both out in Colorado, where you're from, and in Utah, where you're living. We'll take a quick look at this run. Unreal way to start. That 3 in the NAR. Run us through what you were feeling there.
That 3, yeah, I wasn't really sure what to expect on the takeoff there. I was clearly trying to get the grab, but this right here, this was so loose, landed right on that thing. Oh my God, that was so sketchy. And then this below here too. What was I thinking? I almost landed on the grass.
Huge.
Looked pretty sick to me, Blake. I'm so stoked on it for you. Did you say you landed on a rock in that double?
No, I just thought I was like barely cleared on, on the double? Yeah, I landed like right on that second one, you know, just right on the top of that cliff, but it worked out.
It worked out. Great final word from Blake Moller. Huge props to you. First tour win. Let's take a look now at all of the scores. The snowboard men's category absolutely red hot today. So many riders, just nobody's riding for third. You know, everybody shooting for the win. Blake Moller with the stamp. Sammy Luebke back in the mix though, Neil.
Yeah, that's right. Followed up by Victor De La Rue. So the second and third being former World Tour champions. First, Blake Moller, the rookie. Big ups to him. He's going to be wearing the golden bib. Micheal Mawn taking a 4th solid result. Camille Armand also back in the mix, getting backflips done. Well, Nils Mindnich only taking 6 today. Maybe should borrow a gear again and get back on the podium. Hugo Serra unfortunately going down, as well as Cody Bramwell and Guy Giroff not being able to be here today due to an injury.
Ooh, wow. Well, if that was what we have in store for us today, then I just got 10 times more excited. The snowboard men, let's see where this leaves us in the overall. So Blake Moller now with a commanding lead after 2 stops on the tour. Cody Bramwell, though, he's still in touch, and Victor De La Rue has now moved into an overall podium position.
That's right, Sammy Luebke, the 17, 18, and 19 World Tour champion, followed by Nils Mindnich, our reigning champion, and Micheal Mawn. So no shortage of talent in there. Camille Armand and Hugo Serra, unfortunately, bringing up the rear at the moment, but no shortage of potential for them to take the podium in the next event when we head over to Fieberbrunn and jump right back into qualification for Verbier potential.
Yeah, so a good, healthy mix there of youth and experience across the leaderboard on the Freeride World Tour 2021. There are our judges. The sun is out. The conditions are great. Light wind right now, just keeping things cool, but not cold. It's a beautiful day in the Andorran Pyrenees, and we are far from finished. We're going to take a look at the women's snowboard category. These ladies threw it down the other day. They're going to throw it down again. Let's take a look previously on Snowboard Women. Wow, so she is on that incredibly exposed shelf.
Yeah, so up here at the top, so steep.
On fire.
Yeah. Clipping the edge of that rock, you're going down hard. And a big one there at the bottom, dead clean.
Super solid performance from the snowboard women in the last competition, and we expect nothing less again here today. Marion Haerty, the defending World Tour champion, taking top spot. Erika Vikander was in second that time, and Marion's going to be kicking things off today for us on the start list as well. Claire McGregor, third on the start list here today, but I don't think she's actually going to be competing. And then we've got Nuria Castan, the almost local rider out of Spain.
Yeah, then Erika Vikander, she was second the other day. She would like to take the one step up onto the top of the podium. Manuela Mandl, she's a former tour champion, easing her way back into competition after injury. And then Katie Anderson, man, the rookie sensation out of Canada. First stop, first podium. What a way to get things started. And then our wild card after injury, Anna Orlova. So stoked to see the Russian rider back on the tour and really excited to see what she's got in store for us on this face. New face, well, sorry, same face, race, but new day, new snow conditions, new everything. We saw there were some challenges for the snowboard men with the snow conditions. You have to be very precise with your board placement, with your balance when you land. The snowboard women are going to have learned a ton from watching the men, and we're going to see them, I'm 100% confident we're going to see them apply what they've learned now in their category. Golden bib, Marion Haerty riding at a Chamrus in France. No lifts open in France currently, so Marion's been traveling a little bit. We saw her over in the US riding Jackson Hole Natural Selection, coming second there. Second, not an accustomed place for Marion. She came back on the tour, boom, right back on top. Marion Haerty, 3-time Freeride World Tour champion. She's won events basically everywhere you could win events, and she is now ready to kick our women's snowboard category off. She's got the frost, she's got the fire, she's ready to go.
Clap of the hands and she's out of the gate. Meditation descending in sub 5 minutes. Marion Haerty laying down some arc and turns in this top steep section. You can see the snow balling up a little bit, probably a bit of sun effect in there, but wasting no time in getting over to the looker's right part of start 2. The steep chute that we're seeing other people struggle to make turns down. So can she get sideways and turn the board, or is she going to point it straight at this next feature? An interesting line so far.
Strong moves there from Marion, making her way. She is, you know, Chamonix. She's a goat in the steeps. She knows exactly where to place her board. You rarely see her out of balance, and this is just backing that up. Marion, nice air there as she moves across. She knows how to find features. Her runs are always so well linked together, and we're seeing it again here. Marion Haerty doing what she does.
Just down so quickly, like you see the feature radar just popping. Beep, 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 beep. Where's the next one? She's got that one too. So many ears so far that I think that's exactly what the judge was looking for in the last competition, and putting the method in on that one too. Really smooth run from Marion Haerty. Always tough to do something like that after sitting waiting for a technical problem to get solved so that she can get her run done, but I think she'd be pretty fired up with that. She's got a smile on her face, waving her hand in that French way that means like, damn.
Yeah, Marion Haerty doing what champions do, which is putting it down in the moment, even when things are difficult, even when you know, you have to wait for technical challenges, still able to rise to the occasion off there, getting the grab. So air and style right off the charts. Line fluidity a touch lower, control. Hallmark of Marion's riding, always dead in control. She takes her fitness seriously. Other athletes, no, I'm not going to even talk about other athletes, but almost every day she's leaving, she's off to the gym. That air is becoming the method air. It seems to set up so perfectly for the athletes to tweak the method out. Favorite snowboard trick. So Marion Haerty kicking things off with an 82.33. If you're standing at the top, you're nervous now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about that before. If you go first, you don't want to be watching the riders come down and wondering if they'll beat you. Putting down a run like that and getting a score like that will probably help her to feel a bit more comfortable in this hot seat. Who knows what's going to happen, though? We've got a lot of heavy hitters coming right up after her. The winner of last year's competition here in Andorra, Ordino Arcalìs, Michaela Davis-Meehan, is the next one.
Our way back up to the summit here of the Port del Rat. Second season on the tour, Michaela Davis-Meehan, she's got a win under her belt, and she was second overall last year, only to current champion Marion Haerty. Michaela in the start gate, ready to kick things off here at Snowboard Women.
Back in the game, Michaela and the Freeride World Tour on course now, getting down through that steep technical couloir at the top. We'll see the snow looks like it's getting a bit rutted out, maybe from temperature, maybe from other riders, but Michaela making turns now and making her way to the steep technical chute that we saw Maëlle Oliver take second place with. A little bit of a butt check there, control coming into exposure, not going to be great for a score, and a little bit of a side slip as well, but pointing it now and bouncing down through there, looking really solid and able to put the board sideways and keep complete control through that section.
Yeah, fluidity here, that is what you need. Keeping the board pointed in the fall line, just directing it as you need to. Michaela there shedding a little bit of speed, making her way to her lower section features as she comes in now, looking, trying to find the line. This is one of the hardest things on the Freeride World Tour with visual inspection, making sure you're in the right place, and that's going to be particularly important to Michaela.
That's right, Michaela unfortunately getting a little bit lost in the last competition, but lining up another bottom feature here. Now the method air, you are calling it. she's going to opt for a pop and come down towards the finish line. Now, pretty hard to stand in the start gate for that long in the wind during the technical problem. So big ups to laying down a line there, but I don't think that's going to trouble Marion in the hot seat this time.
Yeah, tricky up at the top. I can't overstate how steep it is up on the top of this face. And you saw Michaela, you know, she got on that heel side edge and then working her way through the technically difficult section right there. You can see it, man. Just the commitment to put it into the fall line at that stage. It's really, really mentally tough to convince yourself to just point it when the last thing you want to do is pick up a bunch of speed and you know the speed is going to come at you quickly.
Yeah, that's right. Solid in the bottom snow down there, but Michaela, not as much of a bright smile on her face as we are accustomed to seeing. You can see the fluidity and technique bars down in the red due to those stops and side slips. So the judge is still deliberating on exactly what score they're going to give her. But I think that Marion Haerty can sit comfortably in the hot seat for now and at least not be beaten by Michaela as she was here last year. The Sun God rider out of Australia picking up 59.33 points. Not a bad score at all. Second place for now, and with 6 or 5 more riders to come, still potential for a podium.
So 2 riders down, still plenty of talented riders in the start gate, ready to put their mark on this Freeride World Tour stop number 2. We are in Ordino Arcalìs in the Pyrenees in beautiful Andorra. We have a perfect sunny day, and we are going back up to the steep technical start for the closest thing we have to a local in the snowboard women's field. Nuria Castan, Spanish rider. This young lady has been throwing down with the crew all over the resort, and the local shredders here absolutely love her. Her and Aymar Navarro, absolute rock stars of the snow industry here. 23 years old. This is her second season on tour. Nuria stood on the podium here last year, much to the delight of the local fans, making everybody around here stoked. I have a feeling she'd like nothing more than to do that again.
Yeah, that's right. Just ripping around the resort with her the last 2 days, and she's been crushing it. So I'm super excited to see what she's got for us here today. Looks ready, looks focused, and dropping in on the steep start 2 right now.
Look how steep it is. It's so difficult for these riders just to commit to those turns, especially when you're on the heel side edge. The whole gulf just yawning open in front of you, and so scary to move on the heel side across there. You can see now Nuria moving across her slough. Things starting to loosen up, I think, as the sun hits that crust, and Nuria now making her way into the meat and potatoes of her line.
Yeah, a bit of wet slough coming down there, always intimidating and not the kind of thing you're really riding into, so well controlled and avoided from the Spanish rider. Popping off this next feature now and stomping. Not as big of features as the others, but smooth, stomped, more controlled turns and not side slipping as much at the top, so I think this could be looking for a good score for Nuria Castan.
Yeah, smart strategy for Nuria. You know, as the conditions change, you need to moderate and modify your plan to stay with the conditions. Taking the double there, moving across the track. Nuria, she's looking steady. She's almost all the way through. Oh, just reverting in the bottom, the crust having its way with her. That is a heartbreaking thing to see, as it was going so well for Nuria Castan.
Yeah, I'm super gutted about that. Nuria just like lacing such a nice run, being so smart, picking the right features, something she could ride aggressively, smoothly, and quickly, and it really looked like it was potential podium run there, but just throwing her arms out of frustration, knowing that she probably had something in the bag and not quite able to hold on to it in that crusty snow at the bottom. Heartbreaking.
So snow conditions really playing their part in the riders' hopes and dreams today. It's so tough out there with that weird wind crust that we had, a bunch of new snow, and then the wind. Look at this, doubling down, landing cross hill on the track, getting across, and then let's see, she got that little popper, a little bit, just a bit out of balance there, Neil, and unfortunately the crust, relentless. Once you're out of balance, it's super hard to get it back because it doesn't just let you stand back over the board easily.
Yeah, that's right. See if she's got anything to say to the hot seater.
39.33 there for Nuria, so that's going to be third place so far, unfortunately, and you can see she is not pleased with that result. To have felt what it's felt like to stand on the podium here in Andorra, in Ordino Arcalìs, she's going to be bummed with that, but she's a resilient young rider, and she's going to come back stronger than ever. I have no doubt about that.
No doubt, just a little bit backseat on that back leg, costing her maybe a podium. Heart goes out, Nuria.
All right, well, moving back up, this gives you a great view of just how rugged this is. This start is just rough. and so steep. Erika Vikander, she kind of thrives on it. 4th season on the tour. She's 3rd overall last year. She's sitting 2nd overall right now, has a silver medal on the tour already this year from our first stop. I think mentally she's in a much better place dropping in today than she was last Friday after her travel drama. So let's see how things go for Erika Vikander.
Yeah, that's right. Erika going a little bit further. Look is left at the top, which is smart because there's a bit of unridden snow. It looks less chopped up and a bit smoother to ride. So riding really well actually in this top section, making smooth turns, but picking slightly better, less tracked out terrain, making it look real fun. She said that she rode this type of snow all the time in the Pacific Northwest, where she's from in the States, and that it suits her. And so far, true to her word.
Yeah, Erika Vikander thrives on that stuff. Steep, no problem. Technical, great. In places where we saw other riders side-slipping, Erika is making turns. She's smooth, she's fluid, and she's got a great run on her hands right now, chipping off that a little back, but able to balance it. Fitness and balance coming into play. Balance is not something that happens to you. It's not an accident. It's something you do by staying strong, by putting your feet underneath your body, and Erika did exactly that, staying right over her snowboard.
Yeah, that's right. Good core strength and getting the grab off the method air as well. Erika Vikander, the Viking they call her, I think she's going to be happy with that run. Just as comfortable in steep technical terrain as she is with sarcastic jokes. The American grooving out at the top to her music while she was waiting for the technical delay, managing to keep it together all the way to the bottom on her feet. She looks a little bit overwhelmed, but well done on a sick run, and I think you're going to be looking at potential another podium contention with a tweaked out Indy like that.
Yeah, getting the grab and then just slashing, never looking out of sorts on this run. Look at the fluidity. Again, a hallmark of Erika's riding. Even in the technically difficult terrain, Erika always fluid, looking at the line, not deviating from the fall line very much. Loving this tool for us to see and for you guys to see exactly where the riders went on the face. So Erika really making her claim. I'm going to be interested to see what the judges make of this. 72.67 for Erika, dropping her into 2nd spot here on the Freeride World Tour. Marion Haerty giving her bones there, knuckles on the as she stays in the hot seat.
Yeah, we could be looking at an identical podium. We've got at the moment Marion Haerty, who won the last competition. Erika is 2nd right now. If Katie Anderson comes 3rd, then well, that'll be the same podium. But there's another couple of very talented riders that are going to have something to say about that.
The next rider to drop out of the gate, and the first rider we've seen at this different start, Manuela Mandl, 4th season on the tour. She is the 2018 Freeride World Tour champion. She would like nothing more than to get back to that place. She's always going into the guts of it. Real big sender, but coming back from an injury, so she's dipping her way back into the competition scene. Right now, Manuela getting straight into a super challenging section at the top.
Nobody else lining this up so far. And Manu pointing it, taking a butt check though and clipping a rock. Hope that wasn't too uncomfortable for the Austrian. Looks like she's taking her time to get up right now. Not looking very comfortable.
Manuela Mandl, unfortunately, not able to stick that, and the next bounce taking her off a rock. So she's going to do a little bit of a self-assessment. Luckily, we've got the safety team in place on the mountain. We've got guides, ski patrollers, doctors. Everybody is ready to go if athletes are unable to continue their run. She's waving. That is the universal signal for I'm okay or okay enough. I'm sure that didn't feel good for Manuela, and we're glad to see her up and riding again. Definitely Manuela, one of the favorites on the tour, and as we said, former tour champion.
Yeah, finding way over to some beautiful snow over here. I guess that's why she wanted to go a little bit further lookers right than most of the other riders had. And actually a pretty nice drone shot of her cruising down and enjoying the power over there, but probably not in a lot of comfort right now. The 2018 Freeride World Tour champion saying that she wasn't happy with the way she rode in the last competition when she came 4th, and wanted to step it up today and of course aim for the podium and push for the win, but not working out quite her way. Ooh, catching her tip in that crusty snow there, and that is going to be even more uncomfortable. Really unfortunate to not just get straight to the finish line and have a sit down if that's what she needs. Heart goes out to you, Manu, part of the World Tour by Train project that we're doing with Nuria and Protect Our Winters along with Freeride World Tour, but not quite the day for the team there. Hope that you're all good and heal up soon.
You can see there it is a family affair. The other rider's going to check in on Manuela Mandl, as that was a heavy slam she had at the top, bouncing over a rock. The rider's wearing as much protection on them physically as possible. They've got back protectors on. They all have a full Avi kit in their backpack, and the shovel blade often acting as a protector in the pack there. So Manuela, she's up and moving around. Definitely not, as you said, not comfortable. She's like, I don't know. That just happened. Unfortunately for Manuela Mandl, not the day she was hoping for, and the score reflecting that. But really, in this instance, I think the score, the least important thing in that, what's most important is that Manuela is down at the bottom and moving around. She's going to be sore for sure. Marion Haerty attending to her there. Truly a free ride family, and nobody wants to see another rider go down like that.
Not at all. Manuela Mandl looking a little bit battle worn and battle weary there, but she'll be back for the next competition in February in her home competition.
Well, the competition rolls on. Katie Anderson, the rookie out of Fernie, BC in Canada. She is in the start gate. This young lady stopped #1. She was on the podium, and what a dream way to start your Freeride World Tour career. Very first go. We chatted about this before. She tied for first overall on the qualifying tour twice. Going the first time, the count back going to the other rider, Michelle Locke, but this time it going to Katie, and Katie making the most of it. Look at this, turns right out of the gate. Very few riders able to do that on this face today, Neil.
So aggressive out of the start gate. Her thermometer is going to be right up on the judges' overall impression scoring system. So fast through there, not worrying about the slough, too fast for it, not seeing it, not having to ride through it, popping that air and stomping it so clean. This is a hot run right now from Katie.
Yeah, slough management there, doing it like a pro. If you're ahead of it, it can't bother you. She is a former border cross racer, and speed is her signature, and you're seeing it here. Katie putting a strong case together for another podium spot. She's linking the features together, kind of as we said to Marion. Feature, all the way down. Now arcing that heel side turn. Katie Anderson, she is looking strong. Another big send at the bottom. This is a fantastic run for the young Canadian.
Really, really solid. I think she's going to be looking at another podium place today. The question is, for me, how is it going to line up on the podium? I think it was an even more solid run than her run in the competition on Friday. She's got to be stoked with it. Let's see her smile. And we've got another talented rider coming up afterwards, but damn, got to be unlucky not to land on the podium with something like that.
I mean, look at this. It's just blowing up around her. Control score through the roof. The only thing that's maybe a touch low, air and style, as it was so fast she didn't have enough time. Still getting the grabs there. I mean, it's not like there was no air and no style, but her hallmark is that speed, and then getting this one at the bottom. I mean, she just looks so solid over her board, never out of balance, and I absolutely love those turns at the top. The way she rode that top section, stand out of the day for me.
Looked like a snowboard movie. That was just absolute pleasure to behold with the eye holes.
All right, so taking a look at our telestrator there, you can see her line, ultra direct, super fast. Let's see, second place for Katie Anderson with a 79.67. Wow, what a start on tour, and with only one rider up at the top, she is guaranteed to be on the podium again. Katie Anderson, wow, what a debut on the Freeride World Tour for her.
The young snowboard rookies, Blake Moller and Katie Anderson. Golden bib for one of them, potential second overall for the other. We'll have to wait and see. She's just bumped Erika Vikander off the podium. We've got Anna Orlova left to go. So interesting stuff. We've got the first rider of the day out of start 3.
Anna Orlova, the Russian rider, she's back. We're so stoked to see her back, just getting her mitts on, getting ready to go. Bubbly personality, always so stoked to be around. She just loves riding with all the women on the snowboard scene in the Freeride World Tour. It's so great to see them out there together, and Anna is just such a fun rider to be around. First rider of the day in this huge couloir on the Porto Rat. Look at this, what a way to get it started.
It is steep in there as well. The snow is untouched, so a little bit smoother, really nice for Anna to make some turns down through. They got some slough coming behind her.
Yeah, this is no joke. So steep. You can see the slough running. Anna making turns up on the wall and then pinning it out of there, blowing through the slough cloud, and now just cracking open the throttle to get things going. So she needs to beat 82.33. The tricky thing about that start, not a lot of features in there, but the technicality of it is still going to give her a solid line score. And what remains to be seen for Anna is what she does with the lower half of this face.
Yeah, that's right. Just blowing through that slough, like you said, that is nothing to be scoffed at. Very hard to do to keep your board in the fall line when there's snow literally falling onto you. But making it look easy, the Russian rider so far. Completely new section of the face. Really cool shady features, probably a little bit better preserved snow in there. Technically good, control good. Lots of things the judges are looking for, but maybe is not as much air and style as they want.
Yeah, I think you nailed it there, Neil. That was a very steep, very technical line, the kind of line you'd love to see in a snowboard movie. We do have categories that the judges are working off. Air and style is one of them. Line score, another one. I mean, it was steep, but adding features is really, you know, a clear and the way to bump up your line score. But Anna Orlova clean top to bottom, and that is also a huge part of this game. So she's got a big smile, and look at this. Just the images coming out of that couloir, the slough raging down, and Anna come flying out of it. Great to see that. So control up high, air and style. You said it, Neil. That one is not popping as you might want as a tour rider.
Going to be a tough one for the judges to compare, I think. For Michaela Davis-Meehan, for example, versus Anna Orlova. Anna completely in control, but not really hitting many features to speak of. Michaela Davis-Meehan having some control issues, but hitting some cliffs that were really impressive. I would never really want to be a judge on the Freeride World Tour, especially not today for this run.
Yeah, they've got their hands full with that. You can see Anna smiling. Marion sitting pretty in the hot seat where she loves to be. She's used to it. Hearts going out to the fans and to the homies of Marion back in Chamonix and Chamrus in France. Anna now anxiously awaiting. This is one of the most stressful positions a rider can be in. Maybe not as stressful as the start gate, though. So there we go. 56.33 for Anna Orlova, dropping her into 5th spot.
Just behind Michaela Davis-Meehan, so pretty tight in that score. But it means the podium is Marion Haerty first, and then Erika Vikander and Katie swapping from the last competition to put Katie in second and Erika in third.
Let's check it out. Marion Haerty right where she likes to be, in control of the event, in control of the overall. Katie Anderson, this rookie out of Canada, showing that she is right where she belongs on the Freeride World Tour. Erika Vikander. It's very rare that an event goes by that she's not on the podium. And then we see Michaela Davis-Meehan. Here we're going to take a look at the overall. So again, Marion holding on with, I'm going to say, a commanding lead there, 20,000 out of 20,000 possible points. Erika and Katie, though, tied for 2nd place right now.
And quite a far way in front of Manuela Mandl, the 2017 Freeride World Tour champion, before Nuria, the local rider, and Anna also tied for 5th. Michaela Davis-Meehan rounding out the bottom of the table right now, and Claire McGregor not starting today, unfortunately, due to the injury she picked up in the first competition.
Woo! Snowboard women firing, throwing down, and developing stories across the board there. So we are on. We are in the middle of stop number 2, Freeride World Tour 2021. Ski men, we are rolling on. The first man out of there, or on the top of the podium last time. These are our overall standings so far. Ross Tester out of the US, Maëlle Olivier out of France, and Blake Marshall. It's an international affair, but very close behind is reigning champion Isaac Freeland. And then as we look down, it's just a who's who. And in this field, there is nobody. There's nobody that you can sleep on. Every single man in this field could win if they have their day.
Absolutely. You've seen so many former Freeride World Tour champions in that start list. We've got Reine Barkered, Drew Tabke, Christopher Turdell, Leo not starting today, but a Frenchman starting it off for us, Wadeck Gorak, after winning the Verbier and the last one being cancelled. He was technically the reigning champion there. Another Swiss, Yann Rausis, before all of the Americans coming in later in the table.
Yeah, and then we've got a few guys with some chips on their shoulder from last time. David DeLive, Tom Pfeiffer, and Cooper Bathgate rounding out the event today. Randomizer went and spat out the order in no particular order, so that's what we get. As we said earlier, there are benefits to starting early, there are benefits to starting late. The best thing you can do as a rider is to grab hold of the positives in whichever one you ended up in and hold on to that, because you don't want to spiral yourself into thinking where you're starting is not the best place to start. The mental game, so critical in this sport. So the ski men are up on the top of the Port del Rat here in Ordino Arcalìs. They are ready to go. Let's take a look at what happened previously on Ski Men. putting up a huge one right off the top. Wow. 360 right off the top.
Doubles down through that and takes it real fast. Perfect backflip, but getting hung up in the landing.
Look at Danny getting right into it.
Big backy and stomping it. And another massive backy off that one, but coming unstuck.
Stepping over that second rock. Wow, Blake, unreal run.
Spinning a 3 into a double. What is going on up there? That 360 was unbelievable. This was an incredible run.
Ooh, what a way to start ski men category on our first event. Fireworks across the board. Now let's take a look at what you think is going to happen in our podium situations today. The votes are in.
Christopher Turdell, he's won the World Tour and he is back to try and perform today after crashing in the first event. Isaac Freeland, the current World Tour champion, and Ross Tester winning the last event here. So people really opting for recent success in their voting for the peak performance fun bet.
Yeah, the ski men, one of the hardest bets to place, as we keep saying, anybody could win, and they are throwing it down so hard. It's tough. It's really just tough to know what happened. Vote with your heart, vote with your brain. You just never know. We've had a reset in snow here on the Port del Rat. We've seen 2 categories of snowboarders drop, and so the snow conditions playing into results a little bit so far, but plenty of riders making the snow work for them, so absolutely no problem. This man is strong. We said it before, out of the gate, backflip, odds are good, and then in his interview for the FWT Insider, he said, I'm going to do a backflip, I'm going to go down a bit, and I'm going to do another backflip. Well, let's see. Wadeck Gorak, first ski man, is on course.
Pretty damn excited for this one. Here we go. So big, and front punch. Man, I don't even know what to say about that. It was so perfect in the air. He put it down exactly how he wanted to, but first person to land that landing today, and it looks like the snow is punchy.
Right at the same elevation as we saw our forerunner, Swedish junior Max Palm, have the exact same thing. There's only a certain amount of impact you can put on this crust, especially if the surface isn't broken up. And Wadeck Gorak, unfortunately, you said it, Neil, he's the first guy to hit that feature, to test the waters. And that side of the face seems to have been more affected by the wind and new snow combo as the other. And unfortunately, Wadeck falling victim to that crust. He was perfect. He was right over his feet. He was dead balanced. Wadeck Gorak's not going to mess up a backflip. He's the master of them. But the crust, I mean, you can just see he's absolutely livid right now as the snow conditions playing a huge part in Wadeck's run there.
Yeah, that's right. Let's watch this replay. Sets the backflip like a backflip master that he is, and as he puts it down, just goes forward. So he's going for the absolute stomp. Sometimes people might lean back on their landing because it means that when they land, their back might hit the ground. It's a back slap, and then they don't crash, but they lose a lot of control points. Wadeck going for the full stomp, just deciding I'm going to stomp this so hard that I'm going to be in perfect balance when I ride out. But if you hit harder than you expected, the snow is crustier than you think, that's when you go forward. That's when you front punch, and that's exactly what happened to him. It looks like the GoPro is still recording, so going to have some rage on the GoPro moments next time.
Tough pill to swallow there for Wadeck. I feel for him as being the first man out of the gate with difficult snow conditions and really just having to test the waters. And as you said, we saw Max Palm over on that side of the face as well have a similar result. So it's going to be interesting for some of the other riders up in the start. How are they going to react to that? If some other guys had that plan, will they stick to it, or are they going to modify? Well, the event rolls on. Yann Rausis, the Swiss-style master. He's smooth, he's buttery, he's happy. He wants to get after it. He finished 12th the last time, but he is, I mean, he's a perpetual favorite. He's always got something cooking up his sleeve. Look, he's ducking under the guy rope there at the start gate to just get a slightly different take on the start. Yann Rausis getting ready to kick things off in a direction that I don't think anybody's gone, at least not yet today.
That's right, dropping in. I think Danny Pratt took that one on the last competition. And Yann getting one of the starters to hold the rope out of the way for him so he can come charging at this 360 hit, but landing a little bit on his side. I was worried he might clip a rock there for a second, but just getting a bit unbalanced. I think that's a really poppy takeoff.
And he was so corked there. Maybe the ground coming up a little ahead of what he thought. Now getting into the techie zone. Super smooth there. Just holding on to that. We said it before, if you come out of the fall line in this crust, you're going to get bitten. And Yann now finding a massive flip there across court. Yann Rausis again into uncharted territory. What a creative run. I mean, you can always count on him for it, but then when you see it, it still catches you off guard because it's just so different than anything else we've seen so far.
So steezy. That last cliff that he just hit before this one coming up now, no one else has hit that. This one other people have hit, but not many. And the one above it, it looked like such a nice air. How has no one else seen that? Why has no one else hit it? That's the kind of questions that Yann always makes me ask myself when he's just skied his run. And it would have been so amazing if he hadn't quite come down sideways on that 360 at the top.
Look, he's just gathering speed. He corks it out, and then the ground comes up while he's still just a little bit tipped, feet up beside his head. So control down, everything else popping. The way he skied through that, I mean, we saw a couple guys trying that when he went that little airplane turn to control some speed. Yann, wow, this is just such a stylish and creative run. The huge backflip there. Again, he's kind of the master of the cross court. Him, Pollard, and Drew Tabke always have just a different take on the venue, and it's really unfortunate because I think that would have been in contention for podium if he hadn't gone down on that 360 at the top.
Absolutely, so creative. And like you said, I think that cork 3, he didn't do it wrong. He just didn't go as big as he was hoping. Maybe the snow was a little bit softer and stickier in the takeoff. I know we found that free riding the last couple of days. So when the snow conditions that you don't quite see us right is what takes you down, it must be even more frustrating because look how many hits he got on that line. On the telecaster on the left side of your screen, wow, so creative.
Still a solid score there. That's one of the higher scores you're going to see with a fall for Yann Rausis, and that just goes to show the judges absolutely loving what they saw. Line score, it's full of features, and his air and style just through the roof as every single thing he hit, he made look so greasy smooth. Love to see it.
Ross Tester, the next man coming out of the gate, he was the winner of the competition on Friday, and he hit a 3 off that same air that Yann just side-slapped on. The question is, will he do it? Will he do the same thing he just saw someone else talented crash on? Because it must be so hard standing at the top and wondering that. I just heard in the background on the start mic someone saying, are you going to do it? I wonder if that was it.
Well, Ross Tester came onto the Freeride World Tour with a bang. Let's see him back it up, moving across there. The athletes preferring that way, especially those that are looking to line up this move. Now, Ross gathering speed, taking a slightly different line, so definitely not seeing the exact same thing we saw from Ross. He's over into where we saw Wadeck go. Is he going to throw the flip? Going for the flat spin. Oh.
Coming up short on that one. I think that this snow for takeoffs is just a little bit slower than people expect. And when you had your speed dialed in the last competition on the same hits, you know, this is where I need to start pointing it from. That's the perfect amount of speed to get the perfect landing and have the right amount of airtime for my trick. It doesn't work if the snow is a little bit slower, especially if you can't tell. And I think that's what's happened here today for the first 3 of our athletes in the men's ski field.
Yeah, snow conditions playing a big part. Ross now opting to just ride the rest of his run out. It's tough when you fall and, you know, to stay checked into the game and put down the rest of your run. And it's kind of, you know, a lot of riders talk about being a little bit disrespectful to the riders above you to leave extra bomb holes on the face when landings are at a premium. So Ross just checking in with Yann there, moving across, finding the speed, and then getting himself lined up. That was a super creative take on that upper section. Let's check in and see what happened here.
Yeah, just under rotates a tiny bit, puts it to his feet, but weight was still pretty forward on the landing. A little bit more airtime would have treated him well. He lands a little bit side hill as well, so not exactly what he was looking for. Unfortunately, Ross Tester going down, but such a smooth and creative line. I think we've got some more promise to see from this young man in the future.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen the last of Ross Tester. He came out of the gate hot on the tour with a win, and he was swinging for the fences with this run too. I think that's just the way he's going to be rolling. 28.33, so second right now. Have a pretty strong feeling that's not going to hold. This venue today and the snow conditions, definitely riders finding themselves challenged.
So Ross Tester going win and then crash. Cody Bramwell also win and then crash out of the Rusty Lips crew. Not on a similar level for the Snowboard Women, a win-win for Marion Haerty, and it's all getting mixed up in the other categories.
Well, we're going, again, contrast, rookie to veteran. Reine Barkered, he has always a unique take on it, and we are going to see the throttle cracked wide open straight out of the gate. He likes to go fast. He likes to stay in the fall line. He's got backflips on lock. We don't always see them, but when we do, they are so good. So Reine now pushing across, little drop out of the gate, and he is on course.
The veteran out of Orlova, Sweden, coming straight towards what I'm pretty much going to call the backflip cliff at this point. Laying it out and stomping it like it's nothing. Wow, Wadeck Gorak crashed that. Reine Barkered made it look easy, and I can only say that as a compliment to Reine, because damn, how solid can you be in snow like that?
The mayor of Stomptown showing why he's earned that title. Strength, commitment, ability, all of it, and just knowing exactly where to be balanced over the skis. Now Reine coming into this lower section, taking the double as a single. That was a massive send there for Reine Barkered. What a great run for him, staying true to his form, skiing the way he wants to ski, and flashing that venue from top to bottom.
He is going to be so psyched with that. I think that that's going to be a new hot seat sitter. Reine Barkered, the Dynastar rider out of Sweden, showing why he is called the Mayor of Stomptown and why he was the World Tour champion in 2012. He's still got it, my people. Watch this.
So we saw Ross, we saw Wadeck, we thought, the snow's not really going to allow for it this time. Well, Reine just put an end to that conversation. It is possible. Aaron style, high, line, super high, fluidity, control technique, all of it just popping there, glowing for Reine Barkered. And look at this, barely deviating out of the fall line. You can see the Telecaster showing his line, fall line pinned. It was over before it started. 86 points for Reine Barkered. He's going to be pleased with that. He's going to the hot seat. Dynastar rider sitting on the Dynastar hot seat. That is one happy Swede.
Yeah, Reine getting a fist bump from the Swiss rider. They've both competed on the Bec de Ross several times before, and I think have a lot of respect for each other's riding.
So from strength to strength, from veteran to veteran, the Condor, Drew Tabke, he showed us on the Insider yesterday that digging a pit to do inspection in is very much like free riding in so many ways. Well, we're going to see what he's got for free riding here. Drew has a deep bag of tricks. He's kind of analyzing. He goes super deep into it, but then once he's skiing, it just looks so fluid and free. Love to watch this man ski.
The Flying Hawaiian, they call him. Side hill earring into the top section, also lining up the similar top section, but not exactly the same, taking a completely different angle on it, off a different nose over a massive pepper field and stomping it like it ain't no thing.
Yeah, he took about 5 little cliffs and just turned them into one huge one. Drew now, one ski diving in the crust and going down. Oh, the snow having its way with another one of these riders. Just one tip dropping, and as soon as you do it, it's basically one of your feet hit a tripwire. And Drew Tabke now lining up this bottom one, still trying to salvage some points with a huge 3. Holy cow, we wondered if somebody was going to spin that. Well, Drew Tabke just answered.
Massive 360 from the Transferinator, as they call him. And by they, I mean I. Transfers everything, always you're looking for creative side hits. This time just opting for the biggest one in the middle of the face, spinning it and coming unstuck on one of the things that was not a feature. Must be super frustrating.
I think Drew honestly may have salvaged an all right score out of that with that weird little fall, but then so many great features. I mean, that run right up at the top, like finding the totally different take on this section. Look, he takes off way up there, jumps over what could be 3 other takeoffs, and just takes it all in one. And then moving into this lower section, I mean, this is just magic.
Such a nice way to do 3s as well. You can't tell that he's going to spin as he comes up to the drop. Some people always have their arms really wide to like gain that momentum for the spin, but Drew just casually skiing into it and then popping, bringing his knees up exactly how you meant to do it, landing pretty heavy, going past the other bomb holes, but keeping it together. And like you said, like Yann Rausis, I think he might have salvaged a good score even with a control issue.
Yeah, the judges are going to nail him on control. Unfortunately, just he did have that fall. He went right over with the tip catch in the crust. But a 64.33, I mean, we're deep into the field already, and he's sitting in third. Not probably going to hold up for the podium, but possibly salvaging a result there for Drew Tabke, which would be, you know, a little bit of an ease on the pain of you know, what was a blindingly sick run. Unfortunately, not able to just keep it together. That crust having its way with him again. And I mean, one tip goes under the crust, you're in a tough spot. Well, we're just staying on the veteran train here. 6 seasons on the Freeride World Tour. This man is beloved in this part of the world. Aymar Navarro, he is a rock star. He gets mobbed for autographs wherever you go. If you have lunch with him, don't plan on it being quiet, because the kids and adults just rushing him for autographs. Aymar Navarro on course.
Starting out of start 1, which is a little bit surprising for me, but I'm sure he's got some ammo up his sleeve. Like this one, taking the same air as Manuela Mandl and keeping it together through that heavy landing. I think the snow must be quite hard in there, but the muscle nugget got no problems with shutting that down.
Yeah, just bouncing, but bouncing on his feet now through the same double that paid off for him last time. So technical. Aymar getting a foot up, scaring us a little bit as he was headed towards rocks, but holding on. This man is so balanced, so strong, and he's coming back into the same air that he hit last time, going deep over the bomb holes and pure stomp, which is Aymar's absolute trademark, flashing it, and he's going to catch a little extra credit over here. I haven't seen anybody cross hill on this thing.
Looks pretty flat, but no problem for him, because he is made of steel, taking all those landings heavy and by pure determination just refusing to crash. Aymar Navarro, also out of the Pyrenees, like you said, local hero, good friend of Reine Barkered, and it's cool to see the veterans just putting their own style into this.
Oh, I mean, he caught a bit of rock on that takeoff. He took off directly towards the rock that Manuela Mandl hit and managed to just flick his feet around. You can see control a little bit down, but technique through the roof, as that is the only thing, that and just raw physical strength, that got him out of those predicaments, and then absolutely mocking off that bottom cliff. We know the transition on that one is short. The tide goes out quick. Aymar, no problem at all. He's so strong, he's so stable, and now we're gonna wait and see what that score is. Is it gonna bother Reine? It's not, but it's gonna put him into second spot with a 75.67 for Aymar Navarro.
Yeah, I think that a couple of those small control issues that he had probably docked him a little bit there. Without those like almost going over the front and like landing a little bit one ski backseat at the top here, I think he would have been up in the 80s, maybe even troubling Reine. But as it was, just mate, staying on his feet through determination and strength.
What a show here. Ski men's category, Freeride World Tour stop number 2. We are in Ordino Arcalìs Andorra. We are making our way through. The next man in the gate is Isaac Freeland. He is your reigning Freeride World Tour champion. He finished 4th last Friday in stop number 1 here on the Port del Rat in Ordino Arcalìs. We had a chance to catch up with Isaac and see where he's at, what his head's doing coming into this season as champion.
Champion, and then getting 4th in the most recent event has kind of lifted some pressure off my shoulders. Now I'm just kind of right below the podium and ready to strike when the time's ready. Because we're competing on the same face again, there's a lot of insight that all the riders have. Keep those GoPro runs in the back of my mind. From a creative standpoint, and I'm gonna kind of look at it as if it was a new face.
So Isaac Freeland, the black diamond rider out of North America, he is showing a lot of promise to return to his golden bib style as Freeride World Tour champion from last year, because like he just said in that interview, 4th at the moment. We've just seen one of the guys that came first, one of his podium contenders, go down. So strike when the time's right. Looks like he's about to try and do it.
Yeah, you know, Trevor Tanoff, Isaac's former coach, talking strategy and the strategy that Isaac took into last season. Ease into it. Don't put all your cards on the table right away. And it was, in fact, in Andorra where Isaac laid his full hand down with that switch overflip, switch Misty. The jury's still out on what we want to call it. What I know is it was insane, and everybody realized what a threat Isaac is. He has the full package. He's a great skier, technically super sound, but his bag of tricks is so deep. Even for some of the more freestyle-oriented tour riders, they look to Isaac, or like, what's he gonna do? Because he has so many tricks. We haven't seen a 10th fourth of it yet on the tour. And he said it in the interview, and it's so perfect. So apropos, ready to strike. He's right where he wants to be. He's in the mix, but he's not leading. He doesn't have the pressure on his shoulders. So Isaac Freeland ready to drop here on this second stop of the Freeride World Tour. Let's see what Isaac's got for us.
Taking the same top here as his buddy Ross Tester, and coming through that cut-up snow. You can see it's been testing for everyone, if you'll excuse the pun. Lining up that same top hit as Ross as well, I believe, to get him over to the backflip cliff.
Couple turns there for Isaac, throwing the flip, muscling through. We know it's possible now. Reine broke the ice on that one after a couple of falls. Now Isaac making his way into this technical section. Feet wide, look at, he's got that kind of ski racer stance. He'll never get thrown off balance. Wow,
so square, so stompy. Just looks like he's a Lego man ready to just get put into the Lego ground. His feet are connected to it like it can't be broken. Just so quick through to this bottom cliff.
And transferring across the chute, effortless landing. That's the sign of good transition, when your knees don't even bend. Isaac Freeland making short work of this venue. Top to bottom, so pinned, never looked like he was out of sorts, so fast. Fairly similar run to last time, and again, great to see riders still going to that backflip cliff, even after a couple other riders going down on that one. I really like to see riders stick to the plan. Even if they see somebody else crash, doesn't mean that they can't do it.
Must have been one of the quickest runs of the day as well. Isaac, no hesitation in this whole zone, which is super technical as well. Look at this. I think those are the only two short turns in the entire run. Perfect backy, spots a good part of the landing. No one else has landed there yet. And then this one, like you see, it's ski racer style. Was it a downhill?
Yeah, you can just see his knees working, pumping, the ankles still staying supple and flexible as he moved across that terrain, and that allows him to stay balanced over the skis, not get pushed around. It's an absolutely refined skill. 81.33 for Isaac Freeland, moving him into second spot. That's a big threat there that's out of the way for Reine Barkered's hot seat quest, or quest to stay in the hot seat. So Isaac Freeland now moving himself into second place.
The Black Diamond rider, of course, Black Diamond, the sponsor for the World Tour safety equipment.
Well, back up to the top, Swiss rider Karl Renvall. He had a pretty strong, well, maybe not strong for Karl. He likes to be on the podium, but he is in the top 10. He was 10th Sun God rider at a Verbier. He's smooth, he's buttery, he's got such a distinct ski style, and he's always another rider who can have a take on the face that you just never quite thought of. I love watching Karl ski. It's always exciting, but it's kind of in a way soothing. He's just so smooth always, and he snakes his way down, and then there's just punctuated with these moments of insane action. You see the Verbier on the toque there for Karl as he pushes out of the gate. Let's see what the snaky young Swiss rider has for us.
That was such a good description of him. It's soothing to watch him ski, mixed in with craziness. I'd say that's just the same as his personality. Look at that, just enjoying the pow, enjoying the transfer, stomping it, making sure he gets as much fun out of this venue as possible. There's another one that no one else has hit, and just putting his unique brand on this face so far.
Every time he gets into the air, you see him start to push the shifty out, but then it tweaks even a little more. Now, Karl, unfortunately getting hung up. I'm not sure if it was in the snow or on a rock. Definitely fluidity issue there. But yeah, always with the tweaks. Now across there, threeing into the pocket and holding on to it, Karl Renvall.
Yes, Karl. Unfortunately losing a little bit of speed because of the sticky snow on the way up that wall, but whatever. That was such a cool, creative feature no one else has even looked at. Going from the lowest start down to the bottom right of the venue, barely seen any traffic at all. And Karl, you can be happy with that, my friend. Sun God rider out of Verbier, like you were just saying. Damn, that was super cool run to watch.
Yeah, interesting point there, Neil, and this has been a bit of a chat amongst the riders. You know, super creative. Creativity, not one of the judging categories, but it's always interesting to see Aaron style through the roof as expected. 3 in a very difficult place to do a 360. Judges definitely going to take that into account. Fluidity, you can see a little bit docked as he got hung up moving up onto that feature. But yeah, it's so tough for the riders to choose where they want to go, and I love the riders like Karl who just go with what feels right to them. You look at a face, something draws you to it, and you find your way through that. Not skiing for the judges, skiing for the passion, skiing for the joy, and for Karl, just skiing for the smoothness.
Yeah. Something else that I think might be interesting about his run is that there was a stage 1 landing on that 360, and if you're not familiar with stage 1, 2, 3, stage 1 is basically putting a hand down, stage 2 is maybe putting a butt down, stage 3 is full back slap, like skis off the ground or a front punch where you land straight back on your feet. So that is basically how the judges assess the control factor on landing airs, and I think that might also dock his score a little bit.
Well, let's have a look. 6-7, 6-7 for Karl Renvall. So that's good enough for 5th place currently, but that is not any indication of where we are going to end up. That is 8 riders in to 19 in this field. Karl Renvall done. Another Karl still to come. Karl Regnér Eriksson, Swedish rider. He had a pretty solid run on Friday with a 5th place finish. He's another man in this field who is kind of poised and ready to strike. He's been on the podium before. He wants his first win on the tour. He loves to ski. He's always got so much style. Karl, you know, 4 seasons on the tour, but he's really kind of looking for that first event win, and I really think we may see it from this Swede this year.
Yeah, I feel like he's still a little bit of a dark horse, so full of promise and potential, but not quite put it down in a way that's like changed the world yet. But with stuff like that, casual front flip off the top, looking so confident, is this going to be his run with a huge left side 3 like that, and park style dragging the tails out of this time? Damn, he's having a good one.
We are about 2 seconds into Karl's run, and he's already got 2 massive tricks on board. Staying on this skier's left side, I was wondering if the snow was going to start really changing for the riders as the sun starts to hit it. But man, Karl just making it look so good. And now coming into this long one, the same one we saw Rennie hit, stomp! Karl making short work of the track, tricks, airs, super fluid. That was a solid run from the Swede.
Really, really fast. Can't fault any of those airs.
Sixten Svensson, woo!
Shout out to Sixten Svensson. Regnér Eriksson, also out of order, giving a high five, fist bump to Reine. Swedish crew holding it down, but that front flip.
What a way to start. I mean, if you want to start your free ride run in a way that just grabs the judges by the collar and demands their attention, that's how you do it. So line score, the only thing that's a little bit lower, and then everything else popping. Ski technique, faultless there for Karl Regnér Eriksson. The peak performance rider out of Sweden. Look at the line. Zig, zag, and then pin to fall line with a huge air to stomp to finish. What a great run for Karl. So now the judges have their work cut out for them. Super different than Reine Barkered. Is it going to be enough to knock Reine off the podium? Hard to say. Air and style and technique there, huge. Reine had the full charge, but Karl was not slow. So definitely an interesting one for the judges to click through as they factor everything in and see where they're going to drop him into the mix.
Well, we can guarantee you there will be a Swede sitting in the hot seat after this run is scored. Karl Regnér is just stoked. Reine is saying he doesn't remember exactly what happened in his run. Whether it's because he actually doesn't remember or just doesn't want to say, I'm not sure. But both checking the score screen constantly. Lite nervigt, säger Reine. Means it's a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous.
Here we go. Score dropping for Karl Regnér Eriksson, 73.33. So that is going to put him into 4th place currently. The judges having their say for Karl. That run just looked like so much fun.
So much fun. If I think that there was anything that probably docked him in the end was that line score you were talking about. The fact that Lucas Ride is a bit more mellow in terms of technicality. Big tricks though.
Yeah, it's just, it's a tough day to be a judge. You don't envy those guys any day, but these guys just throwing hammers, and Karl making his case right back up to the top. I recognize my helmet there on Blake Marshall. Unfortunately, we gave you guys the story before. His bag's gone missing. Well, still missing. So Blake Marshall doing it for a podium spot last time on borrowed gear. Still on all that borrowed gear. He still needs to get back to Switzerland to his dad's place where he can regather all his own stuff, but it doesn't seem to affect him. Blake Marshall, the young Kiwi rider, just going for it here on tour.
That's right, quick through this top section. Those turns are airs because it's so steep, and he's lining up a tail 3. Nice, smooth stomp, just classic Blake style, making everything look easy, but I can tell you it is not.
Yeah, and snow conditions tricky up there. Going switch, flipping around into the double, making his way through. Look at the speed of his feet as he redirects off the second step of that double. Blake Marshall definitely going strong. Getting a little caught up on the rocks, but just keeping it in the fall line. Got to be patient there. Blake Marshall not rushing anything and keeping it clean. Well, Blake Marshall, you can see he's kind of waving his hands around. I'm not sure if that was exactly what he was hoping for. Just a little snag on the rocks in the middle of that one.
Super, super smooth, and like a little shake of the head, little tongue out. I think you're exactly right there, Derek. It's like not exactly what he wanted to do, but just because he was so strong and they cruised down through the technical stuff, I think he'll still get a good score.
Yeah, it was a good run for Blake, and you know, we got to kind of just see that these riders are perfectionists. So let's take a look. He was so strong through the top there, Neil.
Right side tail 3, just missing the grab. Nice cross up. And a little revert at the top of that chute as he gets his directions really fast through there. I think this bottom section we're about to see now maybe was the part that wasn't exactly how he meant to do it, but that snow was punchy, bumpy, not a perfect transition. So he almost goes forwards there, but just out of the training, the strong legs, staying on his feet. I think he'll still get a reasonable score out of that.
Yeah, for sure. He just got a little caught up in the rocks right when he was looking to change direction, which just kind of pushed his balance out a tiny bit. Nothing, it's not even a stage 1 or anything, not a control issue, but just a small hiccup in an otherwise great run. And looking at the criteria there, just a tiny bit lower on fluidity. And hard to dock a guy. You can actually see a core shot on his ski there. 71.33 for Blake Marshall. Strong run there, loving that. There was some contention on that tail grab on his last run where the photo, the video, everything looked like he was just absolutely locked blunt on the tail of his ski, and he was like, nah, I actually missed it.
Sitting in 5th though.
Yeah, sitting in 5th so far. Reine Barkered holding on a bunch of, or holding off a bunch of strong challenges. So he's looking pretty there in the hot seat. We're going up to start number 3. We haven't seen any other athletes drop in from here in quite a while, actually since Anna Orlova. But Ray McDermott, the young American out of A Basin in Colorado, he's a billy goat. He said he loves the real, true big mountain style. And this, when he saw that start was on the menu, he was like, oh, there's no doubt where I'm going.
Looks like a tasty start for Ray McDermott, and he is dropping in now on course. Just like we were saying, classic aggressive, fast in the steep terrain. He's doing that so far.
We wondered if anybody was going to get up onto that spine. Ray blowing out of the slough cloud with a front flip. I got to say, I don't think that was on purpose, but it didn't affect his fluidity at all. He just disappeared into his slough and came out. Maybe it was a big mountain tame dog. I hope so. That was absolutely insane. It's so steep and gnarly up there.
Such a tough moment to be a judge when you can't tell if it was an intentional front flip or not. Just comes out of a slough cloud onto his feet, and a completely fresh line over here. And the tracks of Yann Rausis, only one other line, but going a little bit further. Look is right of that, turning it into an air and coming down through the bottom section now.
Wow, Ray McDermott, Raimundo del Mar, as he is known in Andorran circles. He just a completely new take on this face, airing the cave cliff at the bottom. I can't wait to see the look on his face at the top, because he either just did something spectacular or cheated death. Either way, it was exciting for us down here in the booth to watch.
The shake of the head probably indicates the death cheating.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that was serious business. Let's take a look here back at this.
Yeah, catches tip, I think.
Yeah, I mean, let's give credit where credit is deserved for Ray to get caught up, do a front flip in the middle of that, come out skiing, and still hit his next air.
Having a chat to Reine Barkered in the background there, saying that didn't mean to get caught up like that. They're still making it look smooth. Easy cheesy down the bottom, saying he's a bit of a freestyle rider as well. I heard someone say he wanted to do a Cork 5 and run through the finish line switch one time. But taking the big mountain approach today, not quite paying off the 48.33 for Ray McDermott.
Well, glad to see him okay. Loving the approach there. Ray going for it, swinging for the fences out of start 3. Big start, not quite working out, but I have a feeling when we get to some of the bigger faces, we get to Austria and Fieberbrunn, we may have not yet seen the best of Ray McDermott. Well, this man came out swinging. Micheal Olivier, the French rider, second in his first Freeride World Tour event. We're calling him the veteran rookie. He's been around for a while, but he is a rookie on tour. He lost a couple years to a head injury, and got to give him full credit for taking the full amount of time to let it get completely healed, get everything right, then get his body right again, then get the mental game right again, and then come back, qualified through, and now he's here, and he shows that the path that he took was worth it. Take the time, guys. If you're injured, take the time to get it right, and then when you come back at 100%. Micheal Olivier did it. He was the silver medalist on their first stop here. He got Reine Barkered's nod of approval for the technical, Dynastar technical moment of the event, and he is ready to drop in here for take 2.
On course now, Micheal Olivier. Can't agree enough with what you just said about taking your time to get your injuries right before you try and come back. And Micheal teeing off this top one into the gnarliest section. Wow, I'm glad he could shut that down because there is a pepper field below him.
He took the rock that Aymar dodged and Manuela Mandl hit completely out of play by just jumping past it. Micheal Olivier going full throttle here, and he is now into this super technical section across to the Yann Rausis windlap going. I thought he was over-rotating there, but he brought it perfectly just about 450 into the fall line.
Airing over a rock there as well. Micheal Olivier, he's already done one more feature, but this has been such a fast run, and that's a huge one as well, stomping that. I didn't even see that one before. How is this guy finding these features that nobody else is doing?
Wow, Micheal just going all the way out onto the piste here at Ordino Arcalìs as he found an extra air into the flats. That was a massive drop at the end. We can't even call that extra credit. That thing deserves credit as its own strong feature. That was a banging run top to bottom for Micheal, and so big on that upper air that we've seen gives riders a bit of a challenge before.
Micheal, I cannot say enough about how impressed I am with this line. Hitting 3 features that I don't think we've seen anyone else hit. So impressive, and just pure strength, being like, I am in control through determination. Like you said, left 3, going for the grab, bringing it around right, and then this bottom hit, you see he is over rock there. You have to land exactly in that pocket, and he just nailed it. Already celebrating a little bit before this bottom huge air. Like you said, it's not extra credit, it is a qualification in itself, and that thigh strength to stay on your feet and right out into the piece like that. I'm glad there was no one casually skiing past there.
Beast mode for Micheal Olivier. That was a fantastic run, and I want to just give a little bit of credit to spinning left on what is a natural right side 3 windlap. He had to go, you know, if he took that to the right, it would be a 270. He had to go 450 to get it back into the fall line to land in a way that he wouldn't get immediately chucked by the crust. That was a super technical move. Micheal Olivier, is he going to challenge second place? Reine Barkered breathing a sigh of relief, and Micheal dropping an 84. So things heating up in this ski men's category.
Absolutely boiling over. Reine, I think, was nervous that he was about to lose the hot seat.
All right, well, speaking of riders with a chip on their shoulder, this young man had a banger run going and then had it fall apart in a very strange spot. It wasn't an air, just a misplaced turn in a transition from steep to flat, and looking to kind of make up for that. I'm curious to see if he's going to go back to the well, because the run that Tao had on tap was definitely a potential winner, and Tao never goes for anything but the win. He goes out so hard. He's got a deep bag of freestyle, but he's got those big mountain chops. The Austrian rider, he just wants to stand on the top of that podium so badly.
So badly. He's been sending huge 3s and backflips in preparation for the Freeride World Tour. I think he's about to drop an edit about that too. Killing the social media game and coming up to the backflip cliff now. Boom, so perfect. Tao Krajbek, fireworks already going off in his mind and on the venue, looking so focused coming into this double. This is where Danny Fournel-Pratt got hung up in the last competition, and he wants to avoid that. He's going back to the lookers right, where Ross Testa went. The flat landing, no problem for the peak performance rider. Tao Krajbek heating it up.
360 into the pocket there, another stomp for Tao. So this is a little bit better, a lot better now. And Tao going for the long and low, stomping in the bomb holes. Wow, that is a lot cleaner, a lot better, and probably going to be a much happier Tao in the finish areas. Last time just not getting to express his full riding joy. Yeah, there it is. Look at him. He's so happy to put one down. He was kind of saying, I just want to get one of these runs in the bag and show everyone what I've got. Well, there it is for Tao Krajbek.
Big backy, big 360, big air at the bottom as well. I think, look at that air and style right up there. It's exactly what he wanted to show. He's been working on that aspect of his riding so hard lately. I think we're coming in for a really good score for the Austrian.
Yeah, the only nitpick on the run was just the entry into the double where he got a little tip and tail hung, but he made up for it in so many places. As Tao, you see him stomp that 3 and then right over into this big one, and he takes it into the sea of bomb holes. Dead stomp, so clean. Look at that, so fall line. Slightly different approach at the top than he took last time. He deviated out to the skier's right with the 3. That time it was fall line with the massive backflip, and you can't fault it. That was a solid line. Tao packed with tricks. I have a feeling the judges are going to be stoked on that one.
Yeah, I think they're going to love this a lot. I'm not sure if it's going to challenge Reine. It might, but if the only reason that I can think of that it might not is a hand down on that bottom landing. I'm not sure if you saw that, but like you said, it's a sea of bomb holes, a really tough thing to judge because so many people landed there. It makes it more difficult to land there cleanly. Hand down on that landing, will that be the difference between him and Reine? He did a 3 as well as a backy, where Reine only did a backy. Reine had a perfect landing on the bottom cliff. I think it's going to be really close, but it could go either way.
It could go either way, yeah, and it's so tough. I mean, you said, not sure if you saw that. Well, guess what? This panel, they saw it. They see everything. They don't miss a beat, these guys. And now they're just running it through. They're running it through the criteria to see where it's going to come up. But I'm very confident it's going to come up aces. Whether it's first, second, third, he's in the mix, which is where Tao Krajbek really wanted to be. And with a run like that, certainly it deserves to be.
Yeah, we've got Lolo Best just checking in with the video replays on the left. We've got 2 guys watching the screens to reevaluate things from different angles and let the judges know what happened in case they missed it first time round on the screen with the binoculars or the long lens, making sure we've got all angles covered to give Tao Krajbek his score. But we both think it probably going to be pretty up there. And he's been longing for that. He is just hunting for that podium. 5th in February run last year, showing a glimpse of his potential. But with what a combination of steep, big, and tricks, you know, he's got to be on the podium sometime. Will it be today? The chat has dried up between Tao and Reine now. It is just pure nerves. I mean, they'd both be stoked for each other anyway, but the focus that these guys have.
26. And hey, Annika.
Giving a shout out to his girlfriend there. Tao Krajbek out of Innsbruck, Austria.
Yeah, props to the homies back home. It's always good to see. I mean, these riders all have such a big support crew in their homes that kind of carry them on their backs. 83.67 for Tao Krajbek. He is in 3rd place currently. You can see he's marginally satisfied with that. It was a head nod, like, all right, 83, that's cool. I mean, for him to put the full run down, like you said, there were a few little glitches. For Tao, now it's just going to be going forward a matter of little cleanups rather than a full page 1 rewrite, which I think is just a great place for Tao to be going into the rest of this tour.
Only 3 points between him and Reine, but that being 1 position as well.
Well, the glory of the Pyrenees. And here is a man with something to prove. Massive backflip off the start last time, and his ski abandoned him, unfortunately, for Christopher Turdell. Uncharacteristic, as we said, when he fell and we missed the ski click off, we were like, that's weird, Christopher never falls. And then you saw the replay that the ski just abandoned ship. Made a bit more sense. Christopher Turdell now looking to have his way on this mountain.
Yeah, that snow getting really chopped up out of that start now, but the technique on this man is so perfect that he puts down the backflip in a different place and just bounces over a rock in the landing. He's not bothered by that, not bothered.
That was a wild place to do a backflip. Christopher threading the needle between the rocks, now cross court moving here, getting another long and low in. Christopher Turdell, he's always so balanced. His skiing just looks quiet and effortless, even though he's going huge there. And finding the fresh landing, that is veteran skiing right there. Just the same takeoff, but a slightly different trajectory, slightly different angle, and he puts himself into the money spot on the landing. You know, maybe only a meter over, but just the difference there is a fresh landing instead of landing in a pit where 6 other people have landed.
Super smart skiing from the former Freeride World Tour champion. Look at this, where he backflips. I'm pretty sure that's where Reine wanted to backflip in the last comp. landing just short of that rock, ollieing over it, not looking phased, and then like you said, just so pinned in this bottom section and pointing it in exactly the right direction. That is his absolute speciality, knowing where the fresh lane is going to be and finding exactly the right takeoff to land there.
And I hope you guys saw it, but when Christopher came into the finish area, and he did the same thing last year with his other best friend, Carl, when he saw Reine sitting in the hot seat, his face just lit up. He's such a great friend to these guys, and when he, you know, he sees his bud, his travel companion, his countryman sitting in the hot seat, he's like, oh, no way! That's so stoked to see him. So he's as happy for Reine Barkered as he is for himself for laying down a good run. Love to see that. The companionship goes hand in hand with the competitiveness, and for these guys, you know, they're good friends. They travel together a ton, and always psyched to see your buddy sitting in the hot seat. And you know that's a big relief for Christopher to put one down.
First place for Christopher Turdell, 89.67, knocking Reine Barkered out of the hot seat. The two Swedes on top, going in for the hug, the face away from each other, Corona safe hug, but looking like at least one of them will be on the podium today. And like you said, huge relief for the former Freeride World Tour champion, coming off a crash and loss of a ski, meaning a no score in the last comp. He's right back in it now.
Well, the judges absolutely loving Christopher's style. The ski technique, the air and style, all of it just coming together there. And Christopher Turdell dropping himself into the hot seat. All right, local rider, Andorran hero, Danny Fornell-Pratt. He is a frontier guard here in Andorra, and it's relevant because basically where he's standing is the border. It's France down on the other side. He's another man opting to start from start number 3. He had a banger going the other day and had it come unstuck. Let's see what Danny Fornell-Pratt has for us.
Straight out of Andorran Police Force coming at you, Danny Fornell-Pratt, wildcarded onto this event after being a World Tour rider for several years, same time as me actually, getting into the zone. First person to go through here. I've looked at that all day and hoped someone would hit it, and he has just made me gracious. Stomping that one too, the flat landing. We saw, I think, Tom Pfeiffer have a back slap off or a hand down in the last competition. Danny strong legs and traversing quickly now to get back into the other features.
Yeah, looking good. Danny, he's got the advantage of knowing exactly where he's going. He is over some serious exposure now, airing into the couloir and straight into this wind lip jump, getting the grab. Danny Fornell-Pratt putting it all together.
Yeah, super fast down through here as well. He just loves charging around. The local rider knows this terrain and loves showing off that he does. Lining up a similar air to Micheal, but off the other side, coming back into the features that we saw other riders getting into, but taking a fresh take on it. I think this is the Yann Rausis hit. Turning into it, sending Slough over the cliff, getting a little bit sat down on that landing because it is flat. But a sick run from Danny, and he's celebrating with a fist bump. Stoked for him.
Yeah, that's a locals move right there. Definitely pretty flat. Loved that run, top to bottom, especially the top, coming out of start 3. You said it, Neil, that alley that comes out of the couloir. That is a closeout move. We're going to see it in the replay, but let's have a look. He gets up onto that shelf. There's no way out of here except to air, and Danny's so clean. You can see his trajectory perfect. Otherwise, he hits those other rocks. Little bit of a control issue from our judges, and we saw it there on that bottom landing. I think possibly the only other man to hit that was Aymar Navarro, and you can't look at airs and say, well, if Aymar stomped it, I can stomp it. No, that's not how that works. If he can stomp it, it might not be doable for anyone else on the planet.
Yeah, that little bit of a sit down the last landing, the one reflected in the judges' control scores in the red, the only one in the red, all the others very strongly in the green. But such creative run. Look, on the telecaster on the left-hand side, you can see that there's quite a lot further lookers left, and most of the other riders have gone. And really cool and creative from the local. I think he wanted to give a shout out to his son as well, skiing with his son now too. And apparently he loves the mountains just as much as Danny.
I got the opportunity to ski with Danny yesterday, and he's just so stoked. He's so fired up the whole time you're skiing. He's like, come over here, I'll show you a line. Come over here, I'll show you a line. And everywhere you go, it's just like these cool places you would never find on your own. 66 even for Danny Fornell-Pratt, just playing host, playing guide to the whole Freeride World Tour here in Andorra, and couldn't ask for a better host than Danny Fornell-Pratt. Wow, we are just flying through the ski men's field and still a whole list of heavy hitters in the start gate. Nerves are flying. Andrew Pollard, Paul, missing his travel buddy, his companion. Jacqueline Pollard, shout out to you. Everybody here misses you, but Andrew holding it down for the Pollard family, riding out of Alta, Utah, always smooth, always stylish. He's got a fantastic mullet on the go right now, Neil. You can't say enough about Andrew Pollard's. There you go.
There you go. 2020 third overall last year. Rookie of the year before that as well, I believe. So Andrew Pollard, super solid rider, has already proven himself on the way to becoming a veteran. And like you're saying, dislocated his shoulder 3 or 4 weeks ago. And coming into the first competition, said he had to find smooth transitions with nice landings. And she'll be looking for that again today.
Just flooring it out of the start, flying massive 3 on that one. Andrew Pollard makes the impossible look easy. He's so strong, long legs. He calls himself gangly, but what he is a big, strong man. Absolutely flying right now through this. That 360 was rowdy, and we've seen people struggle on that takeoff, but not Paul.
I just can't believe how easy he makes everything look like that. Massive air. Pioneered it yesterday, opened it up, put the first takeoff and landing track in it, and today other people have copied him, but he goes back and does it better with a double or even a triple. He is fired up.
Look how stoked he is. You rarely see Andrew. He always comes in and is like, yeah, that was cool. He is fired up. I'm going to put a case out for that was the fastest run of the day so far. And that's unusual for Andrew. Usually he's milking his way down, but he was so pinned. Look at that. Such perfect technique. The bars are firing through the roof. Andrew popping through this double. Barely touch down, but still with the tweak. And then... that bottom
Stompy, stomp legs. I think we might have someone looking at a hot seat. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's going to be on the podium, at least for now. First place, Andrew Pollard, 94.67. What a way to come back from injury. Holy damn, my dude.
They loved it. Very similar line to Turdell, but probably 10 seconds faster in total down the face, mocked off that bottom air. And as we said, it's rare to see Andrew just froth out like that, get so fired up. But that one felt good for him. He found his spot, he found his angles, and he took it to the moon. Andrew Pollard in the hot seat.
That 3 at the top. Wow.
All right, well, we have a rookie out of Sweden, David DeLive. He has shown us that he has what it takes. He had what certainly to me looked like a winning run going, and then just a slight angle miscalculation on a massive backflip at the bottom of his run last time took him out of contention. Super curious to see if he's going to come back and try to do the same run, or if we're going to see something different from the young Swede.
Hungry Swede, they call him. Out of a show they had going on Verbier. Flipping again. Stomping it, but going forwards. No, my man.
David DeLive falling victim to the backflip cliff there. Just a bit of a crust catching him. It looked like maybe it was only 1 foot, but the margin right now in these snow conditions for getting it right is so slim. And unfortunately, last time when it was just rock hard, he had that one on lock. This time with the odd snow, finding 1 foot soft and 1 foot not soft, unfortunately tripping him. Now he's coming down into this bottom air, landing next to Pollard's hole there to finish things out. Gutted to see David DeLive go down like that, as we were, I think, in for a show from this Swedish rider. He's just not quite finding the magic Da Vinci Code to put a full run together, but each run has these flashes where you go, oh, if this comes together, he's shooting for a podium.
Yeah, absolutely. He nailed that backflip at the top last time. He nailed the cliff at the bottom this time. Couldn't quite put it together. You combine those 2 runs, it'd be right up there in podium contention. Super solid, really promising rookie, but going to be a disappointing day for him.
Yeah, let's see if we can just dig into this one. So the flip set perfectly. Yeah, his 1 foot left ski just getting pushed back behind him. Once your ski's in that position and your other foot's in the crust, there's no pulling it back. So unfortunately for David DeLive, control in the basement, in the red zone, and that's real bummer to see as we're going to wait for the score, but that one is not going to haunt Andrew Pollard in the hot seat. We saw Wild Reine sit in that hot seat all day long, get knocked out by Christopher, and then back-to-back, Pollard come down and knock him out 41. So David Delive dropping into 15th spot so far.
Andrew Pollard sitting in the hot seat, drinking a juice box, showing off a mullet with some fantastic sunglasses. Just loving everything about that right now. Also, that man is guaranteed a podium with 2 riders left to go. He is in first place, so going to be a podium run for the Rookie of the Year from 2 years ago. Like I said, things can really change up with who ends up with the Golden Bib, and it might be Andrew Pollard.
All right, let's go. Back up to the top. Cooper Bathgate, Whistler Freeride Club alum. This guy has style. He's always got a creative take on the mountain. Smooth, 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 smooth. That's his hallmark. Great technique. He was a little off on his line choice, he said the other day. He just didn't quite get it. But now in the mix, in the steeps, Cooper Bathgate throwing up a plume of slough, and we're going to see where things go.
Switch into that couloir and then tripling through it like it ain't nothing. Just so smooth. You just said it. You called it, Derek, and then he backed you up. And then smooth again off this one. A nice casual floaty grab. And this is already half done. We already barely started talking.
Oh, Cooper Bathgate backing himself by going switch into that couloir. There is no way, if you get that wrong, it comes apart at the seams and off of that big bottom air. So Cooper definitely learning from his line choice. Last time he skied, he was like, I felt like that would have been a good ski movie line. And this time, a competition line, but a switch one into the hourglass.
What?
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait to see what the judges are going to make of that. You can see him drop in, pop in there over the air, and then just pinned out of there. Cooper Bathgate over the downhill ski, coming across. Let's see what the drone saw.
Yeah, just keeping it so solid in the air as well. It doesn't look like he's going to crash for a second. And I think it wasn't just a switch one, but it was like a smooth, styly, relaxed in the air switch one. Just concentrating on the juice box and hoping he won't get knocked out of the hot seat, Andrew Pollard. But Cooper Bathgate switch oneing where Micheal Oliver threed onto the podium the other day. What's going to happen now?
Well, it's in the judges' hands, which is all you can do as an athlete. Cooper now anxiously waiting, looking at the screen, trying to see what's going on. The idea of being switched, skiing backwards above that hourglass chute, I cannot even imagine what that would do to your head. Dropping in out of the start gate, knowing, hey, this is the steepest part of the face. You know what I should do? I should just turn around backwards. But Cooper Bathgate just looking to put his stamp on it, totally different. Andrew Pollard casually on the juice box. Now we wait. We put it in the judges' hands. These guys know what they're looking at. We saw their judges' criteria lit up pretty good. The only thing possibly a little lower was the line score, but everything else popping for Cooper as we wait to see what the judges are going to have to say.
Dude, it was nice.
It's going to go better than my last one, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, for sure.
Cooper and Apol just having a chat, saying it was nice, saying he liked it better than the last one. That's interesting.
How about that delay, dude? What the hell?
This is always an interesting sign. When the judges take a long time, it means they're really putting some thought into it. They're really, they're running the numbers. They're putting it through the filter of their criteria to see where they want to drop it. When we look at this list right now, there are so many. As you think back to those runs, so many of those runs were just pure fire. I can't even imagine how the judges, you can see hands going, discussion intense right now to see where they want to drop Cooper into the mix right now. And he most anxious of all, other than possibly Apol. Not sure if that one's going to challenge for the top spot, as Andrew's run was just so aggressive and so fast. But definitely Cooper putting his mark on this.
And score in, 12th place for Cooper Bathgate, 67.33. A little bit lower than maybe he was expecting, but still got a smile on his face about it. Having a chuckle and chatting with Apol.
Well, the judges having their say on Cooper's run, which means we only have one more man to go. Tom Pfeiffer, as you said, twin brother of Liam Pfeiffer, formerly on tour together, rider, another one out of the Whistler Freeride Club. All the homies at home tuning in to see Tom drop in. He's got that classic stance. He always goes out of the gate hot, and he wants to get it. He's got the bull stomp. Now just waiting to get things fired up for Tom Pfeiffer as he drops in the Freeride World Tour.
On course, we've seen a North American contingent going further. Look is left out of that, and it's so you can line up to bring speed into this next section. It's been a really fun place to watch to separate riders, whether they can make smooth turns through it or not, and Tom making short work of it. Really good technique. Left three, full stomp, not opting to go further. Look is left into the flatter cliff where he had a hand down in the last time. Fast through the section, bull stomp like you just said, and looking real good so far.
Now, big send off. This one transferring into the pocket, finding that transition, Tom, and a big send out the bottom. Absolutely making short work of it. Tom Pfeiffer kind of going back to his roots, if I can say. Tom Pfeiffer kind of took a gamble on the far skier's right last time, maybe going a little bit away from regular Tom skiing. That was classic Tom Pfeiffer. Fall line, aggressive, huge, and that bottom air, I mean, it's barely a takeoff, but when you hit it that fast, you're going to go a long way. I'd love to look at the gap in the track there for Tom.
Yeah, really sick run from Tom Pfeiffer there. Waiting on the fist bump, gets it from Apol. He looks pretty stoked. And like you said, classic pinned, four line top to bottom, but with a nice 360 as well, so it could really stack up. The judges' criteria all in the green, line a little bit down apparently, but all the others really firing, and that three was just perfect. I can't really fault anything in that run.
Yeah, clean pop there. You can see Tom staying over the ski, going deep on this transfer at the bottom. We saw Olivia McNeil hit that last time and come up quite a bit shorter than Tom, and that is the pace you need to go if you want to catch transition on that one. Look at the relief on his face. Tom wanted to put down a Tom run, and he did. Barely coming out of the fall line. As you said, the three at the top, that's a scary spot. And the skiing required, the technical skiing required to get to that three is so difficult. And especially, I mean, this course has been worked over, especially that entrance. Far and away, the majority of the riders so far in this event have skied out of that start gate. So definitely showing his technique. Really strong run, I think, Tom Pfeiffer there vying for a spot in the upper echelon of this field.
The upper echelon. Tom's going to be stoked with that. I think you're right that it was relief on his face. You know, he knows he can ski like that. I thought he did it pretty well in the last comp as well, but this one is just double proven that he is here to play. You know, he only just requalified. I think he was the last guy to requalify after the last season. It's pretty stoked to still be here, and I think he's just double proven why he is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Tom he's becoming a fixture on this tour, and he knows he can get it done. You know, his very first appearance on the Freeride World Tour was standing on the podium with Tanner Hall and Mark Cedar. That's rare air for sure to be in the mix with those guys. And every time, you know, he just comes out swinging, and he kind of struggles with staying true to himself. And I'm really glad for Tom that he did a classic Tom Pfeiffer run there. And now we just wait to see what the judges thought about it. 82 points for Tom Pfeiffer into 6th, and as the last rider, that means he will finish in 6th place today in the ski men's field. And that also means that Andrew Pollard takes his maiden victory on the Freeride World Tour. Look at his face. I mean, look at his whole scene.
Doesn't even know what to make of it. That smile belays quite a lot. The hand to the head. It hasn't sunk in yet.
Watching, dude. She's judging a comp. And the last time...
He's having a chat there. I think I heard him mentioning his sister's name. Check it out. Andrew Pollard on a 94.67 with a stamp. Christopher Turtel coming back from a tough one last time. Reine Barkered on the podium, Neil.
He's going to be stoked with that. He often says, it was my turn, and I waited a while. That was nice. Micheal Oliver, 2nd in the last comp, 4th in this comp. I think that means he might have the golden big. Tao Krybeck storming back into form.
Yeah, great to see. And then we're just kind of rounding out. We see Yann Rausis, Carl Renvall, Cooper Bathgate there. Drew Tabke, unfortunately, going down. So big day there for the ski men. Let's go down and check in with Apol, because that was just such a hot run. Andrew Pollard, if you can hear us, first of all, congratulations. That was just such an epic run for you. Tell us what that means to have your first victory on the Freeride World Tour.
Pretty sick. I actually didn't think I could win one of these comps anymore with how good the kids and hell, even the old guys are skiing like Reina. Like, it's such a cool group of people, so to win, it's pretty much the biggest honor I've ever had. So yeah, shouts out to Jacqueline for keeping me safe back home and always watching.
Congratulations, Andrew Pollard, Apol, and your sister Jacqueline, sorry, for keeping it safe at home and recuperating to be back here. Maybe you guys can be World Tour champions together one day. Really stoked to have you here and super psyched for you to come back from injury and land the 6th run to win.
All right, so let's see what that did to our overall rankings. A bit of a shake-up for sure. We're going to run the math, run the numbers, and we're going to get that to you right away. I think you're going to be right. We're going to see Micheal Olivier. Oh, he sure is. He is up there in first place. New man on the Golden Bib, Andrew Pollard, jumping way up into 2nd. He's in the hunt, is Andrew Pollard. And Reine Barkered now in the top 3 overall. Things are looking good for the Swede.
Ross Tester 5th, winning the last one, but Isaac Freeland, the defending World Tour champion, 4th, still in the position where he's ready to strike. Blake Marshall, Regnér Eriksson, they're still in a good position as well. And Tao, not quite in position to requalify yet, but right up there now.
Yeah, making a case for himself there, shaking things up in the ski men's ranking. Well, guess what, guys? This competition has plenty of action still to come. Ski women standing up at the start gate, gathering, clicking into skis, stretching, getting ready. But let's check in and see what happened previously on ski women.
Bigger hit and taking it far more four-line from Elisabeth Gerritzen, but coming unstuck. That's a transfer. You've got to make that landing, and she does. Oh, looks like that crusty snow cost her a ski. Big ups to the new Polish rider rookie.
Boom, boom, boom. Dead fall line top to bottom. Mode best back on the tour. This is a new Juliette Willemin, and this new Juliette is looking absolutely unbeatable. That was unreal.
Off with a huge backflip. Hedvig Vissel blowing my mind.
It's a kick, and I like that.
Oh, check it out, check it out, check it out. Ski women on hold, not on hold, on...
They're ready.
They're ready, they're up at the top, they're stacking up. Let's see where we are ranking overall right now. Run us through it, Neil.
Hedvig Vissel, 10,000 strong at the top. Juliette Willemin right behind with Maud Best coming back from injury, and Zuzana Vitek coming off a rookie season winning. Ariana Tricomi not managing to make it here, and then Tracy Chubb, Elisabeth Gerritzen, and Olivia McNeil rounding out the field. So much talent in there.
So let's see how we're going to run. Wild the way random bib draw works, but Zuzana Vitek dropping first again, but this time not first of the day. Tracy Chubb, the U.S. rookie, she's dropping second. Olivia McNeil, so close last time. Elisabeth Gerritzen, we saw her come out of the gate hot and then lose a ski. Unfortunately, that was a huge bummer, but we know Elisabeth is going to come back strong. And then the rest of the field, Hedvig running right down there at the end. And Juliette Willemin will be the last rider on course today and the last of the ski women's field. Anybody's game here, a lot of strategy. This is kind of a moving and extremely consequential physical chess game. Let's take a look at what you thought.
Hedvig Vissel, 96% of people that voted thought should be on the podium. Elisabeth Gerritzen, 75%, and Juliette Willemin, 56%. Kind of lines up with what I was thinking as well. Elisabeth Gerritzen did say she woke up with a bit of a sore neck this morning, and said she's used to sleeping on a pretty firm mattress, and that's not the way they are here. So I don't know if that's going to be an effect on the betting or the results, but no surprises with Hedvig and Juliette at all. Who knows? Could be the same podium as last time.
Could be, but I'm sure there's going to be a few riders who would like to have a say in that. Plenty of action still to come in the ski women's field. Freeride World Tour 21. This is stop number 2. We are in Andorra, the resort of Ordino Arcalìs, hosting us once again, doing a fantastic job, just showing such an incredible level of support for the Freeride World Tour. So this young rookie, she's Polish. She lives in Switzerland. She speaks French like a native. She speaks English better than I do. She had a chat to her. She said her first run on the tour the other day on Friday wasn't quite what she wanted. She felt like she was just a little too tentative. So she wants to show what she's got, but really for her, she's a smooth rider, and I think that's her hallmark. So, you know, stick to the strengths.
That's right. Styling it up out of the gate. Air off the windlip. going to the same zone as she did last time. Tough to start first in your category twice in a row. Airing off that one as well. We bit of a grab on the left hand, getting the skis up, coming down towards the same air. Is she going to hit it the way Elisabeth Gerritzen did? Yes, she is. Coming off it hot. Little bit of a hand down, maybe stage 1, stage 2, maybe lost a pole there, but whatever, she's still on her feet, making way further. Lookers right, skiers left into the venue. We've got another cliff off that for us as well. Just crushing it so far, but looks like something is a little bit amiss.
Yeah, I think she might have broken her pole. Looks like she maybe still had the grip in her hand. But Zuza making a strong case for preseason gym work there. Taking that deep into the travel on her legs. Now jumping into that moving slough. Zuzana definitely a stronger run than what we saw from her. Oh, no! Oh, getting caught up in the crust. That's absolutely heartbreaking for Zuzana Vitic there. Just getting the skis a little bit cross fall line there. And that side of the face has seen a ton of sun, Neil, and it seems like it's not going to be very compromising for you. Emotions coming out there for Zuzana as she was almost done and definitely had a strong run going.
Yeah, we thought she was done. You know, she was coming out towards the finish line. And just like you said, that part of the sun, part of the face has got a lot more sun than the rest. That this air was so solid. A little bit backseat, and like you said, broke a pole, maybe hurt her hand a little bit as well, but whatever, she was coming out fast, she was looking strong, jumped into a slough, like you said here. That's a really strong move. Maybe didn't get enough credit for that, but then yeah, you can see the snow is quite heavy. As she's putting her skis back on, it just grabs them and she pops right out. Super unlucky, and I really feel for Zuza right now, because that was exactly what she wanted to do. Came back stronger, skied a similar run to last time, but better, went bigger, really showed us why she's here, and we thought she was on her way to the finish line in a celebration, but instead it's a no score for the Polish rookie, and a bit of heartbreak, to be honest.
Heartbreaking, yeah. You hate to see it. I mean, for a rider to put a run down like that, you nailed it, Neil. She just showed a bit more than what she showed last time, which is what she kind of wanted to do. But the inside ski punching through the crust, that's just heartbreaking for her. You can see, you know, way she goes sometimes, and for Zuzana Vitic, not the showing that she wanted there. She's bummed, she's disappointed, and it's so hard when it just happens in the blink of an eye like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough for the mind game as well, because last time she's like, oh, I didn't go that hard, I skied pretty conservatively, and she came fourth, you know, and this time she's like, right, I'm going to do it, I'm going to prove why I'm here, I'm going to show my potential, and it looked like she was about to crush it, and then she goes down and gets a no score. So, you know, after this, like in a few hours, it's going to be like, oh, should I like ski conservatively again?
Tough break there for the Polish rookie out of Switzerland, but the comp rolls on. Start number 3 up in the heart of the Pyrenees. Tracy Chubb, another rider who kind of mentioned she didn't quite show her full hand. She said she didn't feel as she was riding like she's as playful or as kind of joyful as she normally is when she skis, and there were some things that just kind of contributed to that. Having the heli in your face when you haven't had that, when you're not used to it, is absolutely terrifying. Being in a Freeride World Tour start gate, all of those things stack up, and then you drop in, and she, you know, we said it, I think, in the broadcast on Friday, just skied a little bit stiff. So hoping to see the real Tracy Chubb. Will the real Tracy Chubb please stand up? Because we're going to see it here. Start number 3, Tracy Chubb dropping it.
Getting a little air out of that top section as well. Showing that she's fully confident in skiing that spiny bit. Real nice, I like that. Slashing that snow. Like we see, we haven't seen many people down from start 3 at all so far today.
Now Tracy going into this closeout zone. We saw Danny Fernell-Pratt. He's the only track in there. There's no way out of there beyond airing. And Tracy, no hesitation, stepping down. And she's now onto the big open face apron. This is looking strong right now from Tracy Chubb.
Strong, and in a section of the face where there's a little bit heavier snow, similar kind of aspect to where we just saw Zuza go down. So Tracy just holding it together. You can see that wet snow kind of sloughing a little bit, but Tracy, no problems there. Getting back into the shade where it's a little bit softer and less sun affected, and looking pretty solid.
Yeah, and the judges recognize that. They know when the snow is changing, exactly what it's doing. Now Tracy getting into this technical zone, pinned out of there into the transition, and much more consistent snow over there. You can see even just the direction that she drew those turns out. She's being patient. She's not taking any chances with the crust. That's what you have to do if you want to stay on your feet here. Tracy, another air there on the edge of the cave. This is, I think, a lot more indicative of how Tracy Chubb skis and what she wants to put down on the Freeride World Tour.
100% agree. Lots of airs. The judges liked connecting lots of smooth features in the last competition. So smart skiing from the rookie, 35 years of age rookie on the Freeride World Tour. Just put down a run she's happy with. She looks pretty stoked. But just linking all these technical features together without hesitation, I think it's going to be really good for her score.
Yeah, and you could see just the difference in her take on it. I mean, Tracy's smiling at the finish. I like that. I love to see that belly of the turn kind of end in an air. It always just adds that element of style. I love this shot, the overhead, and that turn. We saw so many dreams killed in that section in the crust. So to see Tracy just be smart about it, keep it in the fall line, and be patient with the turn shape. Really smart skiing there for Tracy Chubb.
61.33 for Tracy Chubb. She looks happy with that. That shoot that she straight lined was similar to the one that Sammy Luebke did, who came second in the men's snowboarding. Tracy Chubb going a little bit to the left, getting it fresh, and having a real good time sitting in the hot seat right now.
Back up to the top, the young rookie, Olivia McNeil, having an absolute blast of a run last time, falling apart at the end. Olivia wanted to give a shout out to her university professor, Professor Paul, for allowing her to do her midterm early so that she could actually show up and compete today. Big ups to Paul for getting it done for Olivia. And you know, when you want to move an exam up to earlier, most professors are like, sure, you want less time to study? Yeah, okay. But hopefully the professor and the whole crew in the Whistler Freeride Club watching Olivia start with absolute aggression coming out of the gate. So strong there for Olivia McNeil.
Just pinning it through that top section. You can see how cut up that snow is. It is not easy in there right now, making it just look like it's a pleasure to ski. I'm not sure if it is, but she makes me want to ski it because she is ripping.
Man, Olivia McNeil coming out hot. She made a big statement as a rookie, and she's looking to do it again. Keep it together, Liv. Oh, going down in a really unfortunate spot there. Olivia McNeil just not quite able to hold on. I think she was just a touch shorter than she needed to be on that air.
Wow, I'm just glad she's all right, actually. That was a pretty gnarly place to fall. She was taking a lot of speed out of that big air that she sent really solidly, but like you said, not quite able to keep it together and coming apart in that uncomfortable looking area.
Yeah, that's a tough one for Olivia. I think she just really wanted to come back and put the run down that she almost had last time. You know, definitely was fighting for a podium spot. Little inside, maybe we'll catch it on the replay, but a bummer there for Olivia McNeil as not quite having the showing here in Andorra, showing so much promise, but it is hard to put it all together on the Freeride World Tour. And, you know, Olivia now feeling that really kind of seriously as she comes in to Tracy and all the athletes. They share their stories, and that was a tough one for Olivia. Just, I think maybe a little short. Let's look at the way she started.
Oh, so sick. Just so aggressive in that. You can see how steep the section is, and she just makes it look like just playing around. Skis across the fall line nicely, pointing this. You had need to have a lot of speed for that, and I think she did, but just a little bit backseat on the landing, popping her up, falling down through those rocks in the end, and glad she didn't catch one like Manu did.
Yeah, getting sat down there, and then once the hip is to the inside of the feet, especially with the snow the way it is today, that's all she wrote. So Olivia going down. Looks like she's all right, though. Hopefully she's going to bounce back. 35 points right now, so second place, but confidently to say from this position that's not going to hold up given the nature of the field that still awaits at the top of the face here.
Yeah, that's right. Injury to Jacqueline Pollard being the reason that Olivia was wildcarded onto the tour, and with moves like that, we can 100% see why she's here. Really looking forward to when she can put a whole run together like that.
Yeah, I have a feeling the best is yet to come for the young rookie. Super strong start and just so close to glory for Olivia, and we will see it. She'll piece it all together. Back up to the start, Elisabeth Gerritzen, she's a Verbier champion. We saw her with a real unfortunate just ski coming off after a huge stomp. She came out swinging for first place in the last event here. Now she's going to want to put it back together and finish a run, I think, for Elisabeth Gerritzen is going to be the goal here.
Yeah, that's right. Coming out of start 2. No hesitation in getting to the steep and technical zone. You can see it's kind of slipped out now. A lot of tracks going through there and not making it easier, but Elisabeth not taking too much time to get through there and lining up this cliff on the looker's left. Threeing off that right side three and landing it. Elisabeth Gerritzen getting me psyched.
Wow, well, we've seen her out in the resort doing threes everywhere, all over the place. You kind of got the sense she wanted to do one in competition, but there, man, what a place for Elisabeth to debut that. And now stepping through this lower section, step, and out. Elisabeth now making her way down the apron. The snow is not easy down here, and she is not going to turn off the mental focus until she is under that arch in the finish area.
Yes. Yes, Elisabeth, hands on her head. She can't believe what just happened. We have not seen a lot of threes on the women's ski field, and especially now that Ariane Tricome isn't here right now. She is absolutely blown away. She is in utter disbelief right now. It happened, it worked, it went perfectly. Elisabeth Gerritzen, after a couple of heavy crashes this week, throwing that down.
Yeah, bouncing off the backpack, so a tiny little bit of a ding, probably a stage 2, we'll call that one, but we'll leave it to the judges. And then Elisabeth clean through here, and you can see she's just staying in the game because so many dreams killed in this lower section. Finding another air there, nice clean stomp, and Elisabeth right there is where she actually starts to believe it. Mouth open, almost in disbelief, like, did that really just work top to bottom? Well, guess what, Elisabeth, it did, and you are now sitting in the finish area. And I think that's going to be a big challenge for, it sure is, Tracy Chubb out of the hot seat. Elisabeth Gerritzen moving in with a 79.67.
Yeah, Elisabeth, super stoked for you. Rocking those Black Diamond gloves that you bought yourself with your own money. Just wanted to say that, hey, Black Diamond, maybe you should give us some of those for free.
Elisabeth Gerritzen taking her spot in the Dynastar hot seat. Great run, so aggressive. I mean, I just can't say enough about what a place that is to do a 360 above all that exposure right into the, just getting into the run, and then to throw that down up there. Magic run from Elisabeth Gerritzen.
So we've got 3 riders left to go, and Elisabeth in the hot seat.
So, Maud Best, Swiss rider, returning from injury. We saw her already on her return to Freeride World Tour competition, finish on the podium. Maud Best would love nothing more than to take another step up that podium into a second or a first, and she's coming out a little bit hotter, a little bit more aggressive, I think, even than last time.
What? No, Maud Best, that was so sick.
Well, I mean, I said aggressive. I didn't expect that kind of aggressive. I mean, that was double claws out aggression from Maud Best. Massive Superman front flip, but in for sure the crustiest, most difficult snow on this face, and not able to hold on. I mean, she got it to her feet, but the crust just ate her alive.
Maud Best, absolute commitment to that front flip, skiing straight towards it from the start line. No hesitation, no slowing down, but over-rotates a little bit because she sent it so hard. I'm so impressed with that. The ski women's field is going off right now, but the snow just not quite cooperating.
That was bonkers, Neil. Maud Best, wow. I mean, absolutely bonkers to just throw caution to the wind. So, we saw Maud dip her toe back into competition. I mean, she lost a year and a half to injury from a wild competition send at Kicking Horse a few years ago. And so she came back looking a little bit more conservative, and in the conservative run got her onto the podium. So, I mean, I'm obviously speculating what's going on into her head, but she went the polar opposite of conservative there, went absolutely ham with a massive front flip right at the top of her run, not working out. But man, what the ski women's field has never been stronger. Absolutely hectic to be in this field. We've seen a 360 from Elisabeth. We saw a gigantic send from Olivia. We just saw a front flip. We saw Tracy in the Nar. I mean,
yeah, I'm baffled as well.
Halfway through the field.
I'm absolutely baffled as well. Maud Best going for a massive front flip, and I wonder if she'd seen that the others had crashed, because Zuzana Vitic, no score, Olivia McNeil crash. We had, I think Matt, she could have just done a conservative run, having seen those 2 crashes go down. There's only 2 more athletes to come after this. But she just wanted to show why she's here. She wanted to show this back from injury. She wanted to do a big front flip in a competition because that's dope. And I've got so much time and respect for that. Maud Best, big ups.
Yeah, it's just, it's straight up. It's not in her DNA. It's not in her DNA.
She possesses no chill.
Yeah, so Maud Bess throwing it down. The next rider in the gate is our current tour leader and the winner of the last event, Hedvig Wessel. Let's take a look at what makes her tick.
Competing on the same venue, for me, like going back, in moguls, like I did the same runs over and over and over and over in the same venues. So I tried to like look back in the mogul career and like, okay, I need to find maybe a different line, a more creative line. I want to try to find something different, and I will look over the live stream and see if I can find something cool and maybe get inspired by the other riders.
Into the mind of a champion. Hedvig Wessel took out the first event here and literally changed the day with what she did right at the top of the face, that massive backflip. I can only imagine what she's got planned here. Now, Hedvig she is a strategist. She may have watched, she might have planned A, B, C, and D, or she might just go and swing for the fences too. I mean, she seems to be a win or die type of competitor, and there's no telling what's about to happen, and I'm so excited to see this run go. Hedvig Wessel, current tour leader, right now dropping in.
That's right, she's on course, coming out aggressively. No hesitation through that super cut-up zone, airing that, but catching an edge, taking a fall, hitting pretty hard. I really hope she's going to stop here, and I think she will. Seems like she's moving around.
Wow.
Has lost the ski.
Absolutely fire engine aggressive out of the top. I mean, you saw Elisabeth in that section side slipping because it was so gnarly. Hedvig almost looked off balance right from the jump, and then so much speed into that. Other riders rolled over it, immediate high side, and then look at this, just head over heels. Thank goodness she was able to slow herself down before she connected with the rocks there. Looks like she's fine. We're just going to wait for the Ski Ninja crew to collect her equipment. That was a scary fall for Hedvig Wessel.
Yeah, she hit super hard there. Even on the snow, it was pretty hard snow, and it looks like she took the impact with her upper body, which is usually more uncomfortable. So glad Hedvig's up and moving around. Pretty big hit for the current Golden Bib holder, but
can we just take a second to focus on the aggression that we're seeing from this field? I mean, we wondered if the crust was going to play into the game plan, into the strategy in the ski women's field. Every single one of these women has gone out absolutely swinging for the fences. No holding back. I mean, Hedvig watched a few falls. We got a few no scores. We had Olivia, undershooting on her big air and falling. She honestly could have just skied the gut and probably finished either on the podium or just off, but no way. It's like we said with Maud with the front flip, it's not in the DNA. These women are not willing to sacrifice the integrity, the quality of their runs just to finish on the podium.
Much respect for that. So much respect. Because I was talking to a few of the athletes, and they were saying, like, it just doesn't feel right to ski the same line twice. I know I've done it. I can do it better, or I can not crash this time. But it just feels like the ethics of it is to do something new. And all the girls have, and it's been amazing to watch. So much respect. Big up, ladies. Really looking forward to the next competition, and you guys keep your foot on the gas like this. Sorry to see there's been so many crashes today, but I think it's because of the snow.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the snow conditions are wild, and this category is running at the end of the day when there's a ton of tracks and stuff, and then the sun obviously coming into play here as it starts to cook the crust. The crust gets more breakable in spots, less consistent for sure in other spots. Okay. Hedvig's finishing out her run. She lost her skis, so that's going to be a no score. You're Juliette Willman at the top. You've just watched chaos unfold underneath you. What do you do?
I don't know, man. I can't speak for Juliette. I mean, we almost have the same last name, but like, she's skiing like she's on fire right now. I wouldn't want to tone it back if I was her. I wouldn't want to say, oh, well, I've seen so many people crash, I'm just going to ski a mellow run and have a chance at a podium. I don't think that's her style. I don't think it's the style of any of the women in the women's ski field right now. So I think she's going to come out swinging anyway. Who knows? I wouldn't blame her if she doesn't, but
no, I mean, in the chess game of freeride, the logical move is to just get down because you'll probably be on the podium. But logic is not in play here with any of these athletes. They are just, all they want to do is put on a show, one-up each other, you know, win. I mean,
we're baffled. We're baffled in the commentary box. I'd say logic is in play, but strategy is not. Respect from your peers in the public, that obviously is just #1 priority right now, because it's like, we're going to send until the end.
Send until the end. Well, we're at the end. The last athlete of the day, Juliette Wilman. Juliette went out so hard last time, and it earned her a spot, her first spot on a Freeride World Tour podium. French rider. She lives in Chamonix. She's got the ski racing pedigree. Her technique is flawless. But, man, being the last athlete on the face of the day, that's mentally tough. But I think if anyone's up for it, it's Juliette.
Charging through his top section as well and looking so strong. That ski racing background coming right out. Looks like she's going to jump into the chute. We saw a bit of traffic earlier, but not so much now. I hope the chute is coming out as good snow. Well, makes it look like it's good snow. I don't know if it is, but she makes it look easy.
So aggressive. Juliette not holding back. I mean, we asked the question, but we knew the answer before she dropped. There was no chill to be expected, and Juliette not showing any kind of chill. Big double there, pinned. Look how forward she is. She just stays right engaged over her skis. Never, ever, ever looks out of balance. So clean, so smooth, so strong. And that, for sure, the fastest run in the women's field by a mile. Super solid run there for Juliette Wilman. Wow. Well, no one took their foot off the gas in the ski women's field. It's in the judges' hands now. She went out of the top. Even a little snag on the rocks did not let that affect her.
So solid from Juliette Wilman. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is a podium place. Like, you know, it could have been a podium place without such a full accelerator run like that. But just that bottom skiing, that we know that snow is not easy. We've seen a bunch of talented athletes go down in it. Just made it look like it was playtime.
Yeah, fluidity and control, pumping, line a little lower, air and stuff. I mean, did she even have time? The ski racer still lives inside Juliette, and much like we've seen some other athletes, the speed is just always going to be there for her. 68.33 for Juliette, and another silver medal on the Freeride World Tour for the young French rider. So good. So they almost accidentally hugged. Remember hugs? I missed them. We'll get back to that place, but those two, they're so stoked. And I don't know if you just saw Elisabeth walking away with her hands on her head to come from a no-score double ski ejection to winning. That's how you do it. That is the heart and mind of a champion. Check out this leaderboard.
Maybe she should wake up with a sore neck more often. Elisabeth Gerritzen winning for the first time since winning Verbier 2 years ago. Juliette Wilman second place in two competitions. Tracy Chubb, veteran 35-year-old, but first time on the Freeride World Tour and first ever podium in her second competition.
So let's see what this does to our overall rankings. Bit of a shakeup in the score right now. So Juliette Wilman is going to be leaving Andorra wearing the golden bib. Elisabeth Gerritzen crawling out from that tough finish. But and Elisabeth and Hedvig now tied, both with, oh my goodness, both with a win and a no score. Tied for second on 12.620. Unreal. Tracy Chubb now moving up, way up after last time. Maud Best, 90.20. Susanna and Olivia now tied in that sixth spot, just on the bad side of the cut. And then we are going to have Ari Tricomi come back into the mix when we go to Fieberbrunn. Let's check in with our winner, Elisabeth Gerritzen. We've seen you throwing threes around the resort all week. We saw your Insta stories with basically doing them all over. What was going through your head? How did that feel? Were you scared at the top, or were you were just ready to go with that?
Actually, I wasn't scared. I was, I mean, I had like nothing to prove. The last time I skied this face, I lost a ski for no reason. So honestly, it couldn't be worse. That was my mentality. And yeah, I decided to spice things up a bit. Ari's not here, unfortunately, but I'm sure she would have done the same thing. Yeah, I'm super happy. Like, this was a bit of a mental game for me. I don't come from a freestyle background. Honestly, I learned how to do proper threes this year. So, super stoked to like pull it out today.
Yeah, I love that. Holding it down for the 360 crew on this face. You said you've just learned it this year. You've been doing a lot of backflips, but I want to talk a little bit about resiliency, because last time was tough for you. You lost the ski after a big stomp, as you said, for no reason. The ski just kind of abandoned ship. In your head, in the start gate, what does that look like for you when you're dropping in and you know there's kind of a lot of pressure on you for a result?
mean, as I said, like, it was, I wanted to go all in. Like, I'm not interested in doing a safe run anymore. I've done safe runs for 4 years in a row, and, you know, I've had my fair share of third places. And, yeah, it was win or lose today, I think.
Win or lose. Well, I feel like the entire field took that approach today. Basically, everyone went out swinging for the fences. Everyone was just looking for the win. We've got your run here on the screen. Maybe you can just kind of run us through what was going through, what it felt like for you.
So there I was going so slow, pretty scared to like fuck it up there. I was super like concentrated on my 3. And then boom, pretty big back slap, but you know, I can clean that up another time. And then the rest of my run was pretty boring, actually. I was just like, don't fuck it up now, don't fuck it up now, like, just stay on your feet. I meant to do this as a proper double, but I didn't. And then there I was like, oh, I should probably do a last hit. So I did this, which was, yeah, kind of lame. But yeah, I'm stoked. Anyways.
Elisabeth Gerritzen, self-deprecating there, but you are the champion here in Andorra. Ordino Arcalìs taking basically 1 good, 1 bad for Elisabeth. Congratulations, a 2nd win on the tour and locking yourself into a tie right now for 2nd overall with Hedvig Wessel. Fantastic run. Big ups to you, Elisabeth Gerritzen. Incredible result here, winning in Andorra.
Thank you.
All right, well, we're back in the booth. I'm here with Bertie Denevo. Bertie just sat in the judges' pit for the whole time. What a show. Overall impressions right now, Bertie, from you?
Well, it was a great show, obviously. A little bit of tough snow conditions. We saw some crashes because of that crust turning into spring snow. Some riders had issues with that, but overall, a really good show.
Yeah, unreal there. Ordino Arcalìs coming through for us again. So, Bertie, we just saw Elisabeth's run. She kind of ran us through it. I'd like to get the judges' take now. We're going to take a look at the ski men's run. Andrew Pollard, wow. I mean, the numbers kind of reflected it, but you guys loved that run.
Yeah, the speed, the commitment at the top, really, really fast there. He just nailed that 360 up there. Probably had the fastest time. Would we take times up to that point? No hesitation over there as well in the middle. Nice and smooth. And then here as well, we loved the way there was no hesitation. He knew where he was. There's no speed check. Just aiming straight to that bottom air. Boom. Almost lost it there. Luckily, it was a perfect run.
Yeah, Andrew Pollard really kind of combining all of the factors there. It had the freestyle elements, but such aggressive charge. And then you said at the bottom, no hesitation. It shows you guys in the pit that he knows exactly where he's going. How much does that play into the way you guys kind of run a run through the criteria?
It makes a huge difference. You know, taking the same jump without hesitation, without speed checking, compared to somebody who does 2-3 turns, making sure he's at the right place before he actually goes for the jump is a huge difference in commitment, and we do award this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so good to see, so exciting, you know, for the fans at home to be watching, and I'm sure we felt it here, and I'm sure you guys felt it in the judges' tent as well. There's an energy that comes off a run like that, and you could sort of see it in the scores. I mean, Christopher was in there for a little while. Did you guys even hesitate to throw that huge score at that one?
No, we didn't. There was a big difference, but you could. It's not often that the ski technique takes a big part of the scoring for us, and over here the snow conditions were tricky at the top. Those who took start 1, you could tell some had a hard time linking turns, and Christopher and Andrew and Reine had perfect skiing up there where it was technical, and you had to show ski technique.
Yeah, and that's the reason right there from Bertie that technique is one of those categories. You cannot underplay how important it is on a face like this when the conditions are just difficult, I guess is a nice way of putting it. Okay, let's move categories. Snowboard men, fireworks. We had so many riders in the mix, and this young rookie, let's have a look. Blake Moller's run, did he ever go out swinging?
It was a beautiful run, so fast, so smooth. The snowboard men had no issue with that snow. One edge is easier to control in these crusty snows, so snowboarders didn't have any problems. And we saw a great show of mix of freestyle, big mountain, speed, everything was there. And that switch to revert double was pretty amazing to watch. And then one more hit. And here we go, the last big air, clearing everything. Well, the technical at the top, some freestyle mix in it, stomped everything. There was no question for us, that was the winning run today.
Yeah, just kind of putting all those elements into the blender. I mean, everything you said, the top of this, and I think that's what's so cool about this face. The top of it is so difficult to ride well, and we saw a big variation in terms of fluidity and technique and even control at the top, where it's so steep, it's so narrow, and after a few riders went through, it got so stepped out. You know, but Blake able to just handle it and put turns in where others didn't. How much does that kind of play into your judging?
It does. Obviously, those starting with start 2, the lower start, didn't have to go through that, and so they took an easier entrance, but they didn't take the risk to do something bad up there. So would you choose that start 1 and show us that you could master it? It was already a big bonus before you hit your first air, which is something you wouldn't get if you chose start 2. You were having to count more on your airs, and you couldn't really show us anything on technique as much as from start 1.
So there you go, that start choice really coming into play, but if you choose the more difficult one, you better do it well, and that's a hard one for a rider, you know, the mindset of like backing themselves, knowing they've got the skill to do it. All right, snowboard women, Marion Haerty, I mean, it's not a surprise. We're never surprised to see Marion winning, but this run, again, super technical right from the get-go.
Yeah, exactly. She showed us she could link turn up there in that crusty snow, no hesitation, and especially what we liked, what comes a bit later, she drops that step here and then goes for her first air, and there was a lot of snow in the air. We think she couldn't really see her takeoff right there, you see, and she still didn't brake, didn't hesitate, and went for it and stuck it. So that was quite committed over there. And then the rest of the run was smooth. She kept her speed, linked a couple airs in the middle, the small one here with a small grab, if I remember correctly, yeah. And then that double at the bottom, coming over here, smooth, and then she went to the far right to add another backside air, which was pretty nice spotted. So that's one more air than she did the other day over here. All right, so yeah, very smooth, but we especially love that technical part linked to that big air in the top steep section.
Yeah, so you mentioned something there that I thought was really interesting, and I want to kind of dig into it if we can. Marion blinded herself with the face shot up top and still 100% committed to that move. Commitment isn't a category, but where do you guys place it within the judging criteria that you do have?
Well, it kind of goes into fluidity, because if you don't see anything and you have to stop yourself, it's going to hurt your fluidity. So when we say commitment, when you're not sure, or commitment where it's showing us fluidity and speed. So it probably goes into the fluidity criteria.
Right, so having fluidity in the middle of a difficult section or something that you know is going to be hard, that's where it comes from. So yeah, commitment, I mean, like Neil and I were talking about it all day. While it's not a judging category, it's not a criteria, it really factors into the way you guys are scoring these riders and the way their final scores kind of drop.
Yeah, yeah. When we talk about fluidity, people kind of only think about speed. It's not just that. It's especially these stops, hikes, or hesitations that could really hurt your flow and will penalize your score. Or, on the contrary, you show us that there's no extra turn and you're pointing straight to where you want to go, and you keep that fluidity going.
Okay, shifting gears a little bit with Bertie here. Snow conditions definitely coming into play for some riders today. I feel like they played a pretty big role in the event overall. What's your take on both the effect the snow conditions had and the riders that either handled it or didn't?
Yeah, it was tricky, especially for skiers. With the two skis, you go deeper, and it could catch a ski, and it's a little bit of a lottery. On one side, you could be unlucky, totally, or a little bit of technique as well. But it was definitely a lot easier for snowboarders than for skiers today in these conditions.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw that straight out of the gate on the ski men's side. Wadeck Gorak, he was the first person to hit that backflip air, as Neil and I named it, that factored so heavily in the other day. And then for him, just immediate punch front flip. You know, heartbreaking to see. Why do you think when Wadeck and Ross both had a very similar result, why do you think it worked out for Reine? What was the difference there?
Well, two things. First of all, people at the top saw it, so they got maybe more cautious. It could be that after snowboarders just thought, oh, it's great, conditions are perfect, let's roll. And second thing, Wadeck might have broken the first layer, and the fact that there were a couple tracks there made the landing easier for the next ones.
Yeah, I mean, that was tough to see because he came out swinging, and you know he had a big plan to throw another flip. I didn't get from him exactly where, but I kind of had a sense that it was the Tau and David Deliv zone. That one kind of sets up perfectly if you got the angle right. But yeah, for him, you know, unfortunate. And then we saw it in some other places. We saw it with Zuzia Vitic lower down. What do you think the difference was on this face between lookers right and lookers left in terms of just the sun effect as we went through the day?
Yeah, it was in the shade in the morning, and the first part of the face that got sun affected was the lookers right. The lookers left stay in the shade a bit longer, so the snow was changed more to spring snow faster in the lookers right. So for Susanna, who was coming from the left and was linking these turns on the far bottom lookers right of the face, there was a big snow difference, and she got caught with that.
Right, so the transition from the sort of more skiable snow to the less skiable snow taking her down. And that's something, I mean, the riders kind of strategize. They spend so much time choosing their line. I mean, you've been involved in this game for a long time. How much do you think they factor in the way the snow will change throughout the day based on sun position and warming?
That is really hard. You never really know at what time you're going to go. You know, if the wind stops or if the wind stays, the snow might not change at all. So I don't think they think too much about that. They think more about the line they want to take and then try to make the best out of the snow. But to choose a line thinking, okay, I'm starting late, it will be spring snow, I should take that line or that line. It's tricky as well. You never know if today the course has been delayed for a bit, so of course you don't start at your planned time.
Right.
So, and you sitting up there, you know, you walk for an hour and a half before you're up there, so it's not like you could change your plan at the last minute because you've been up there for an hour already, so your plan is set.
Yeah, I mean, so hard for these guys all of these athletes to figure out exactly the way it's going to change. Bertie, massive thank you for joining us in the booth, and thanks for the work you do in the judges' tent. So difficult for you guys to put this all together and come out with these results, but it is what it is. So we're gonna just continue our chat. I am here with Bertie Deneveau. He's one of the head judges, one of the judges for the Freeride World Tour. A ton of experience, and you know, we kind of looked at a bunch of the different categories, and we saw pretty different results. The ski women running at the end, Neil and I were trying to figure out if they were struggling because of the snow conditions changing, or if they were just going absolutely ham. I mean, we saw Olivia go massive to crash. We saw Hedvig uncharacteristically just fully lose control at top. Maud Bess, I mean, just full send mode for pretty much the whole group. Yeah. What do you make of where we're at and where we're going with that?
A little bit is the result of the first event. Maud told me she was a bit stressed after the event number one. She didn't like the way she skied, but she was happy she had one good result with a third place. So I guess her mindset was like, okay, now I'm going to show what I can do. And probably went a little bit too much. For Hedvig, she's so competitive. Even though she won the last event, she was going to go for it. But she got a little bit hooked up right off the start gate. I guess that probably, you know, got off a little bit off her concentration. I guess that's what happened, but we'll have to talk to her. And yeah, everybody else is trying. You know, Elisabeth, even though she lost the ski on day one, she fully went for that. It's the biggest 360 we've ever seen from a ski woman in a free ride competition. So she charged, even though she really needed that result.
Yeah, and she said, I mean, and I love this mentality. She said, doesn't matter. It couldn't have been worse, so I needed to make it better. So she wasn't even carrying that sort of burden of the last result with her. She just wanted to go out and do something better. And I love that resiliency from any of the athletes to be able to bounce back from a tough one to really just show what you're made of. Ski women on fire. Everybody, every category, so strong. Bertie, thank you so much for joining us. It's always great to to get an insight from the judges' perspective on exactly what went into the results that we got. We're going to head down to Neil Willman. He's in the finish area with our podium today here in Ordino Arcalìs. Neil, take it away.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you for the show today. Gonna have to yell pretty loud because this microphone is working for the live, but not for in real life. The athletes down here that are about to get called up into the podium may not be able to hear me very well, but you guys can at home. That's important as well. Let's get straight into it. I'm gonna go into the first category today, the first category that rode. And third place for Snowboard Men, no stranger to the podium. Get on up here, Victor Delanrue! Self-service with the medals over here. Hello. Yeah, buddy, well done. Second place, also no stranger to the podium, but returning after a short leave of absence, it's Sammy Luebke. Self-service medals, be a good boy and choose the one you're meant to take. Nice to see you guys on the podium together again. Yep. But today belonged to no one else other than the rookie out of America. It's Blake Moller. Yeah, Blake, congratulations. There's a slot in the front thing from the podium, Blake, if you want it. You can put your snowboards in the front of the podium. There you go. You. Yeah, boys, well done. This is what I mean, bro. For next time, man, because I think there'll be a next time. Yeah, dude. Congratulations to the podium getters, old and new, former Freeride World Tour champions and potential future Freeride World Tour champions. It's going off right now. All right, let's get into the second category. Hopefully you guys can hear me. In third place, also no stranger to the podium, after a second place on Friday, it's Erika Vikander. You. What's up? I'm pretty good. You're even better. In second place, after a third place, only a few days ago, getting a second podium in a second ever World Tour event, it's Katie Anderson. Whoop. Nice. Nice. And in first place, the same first place that we had a few days ago, straight out of France, is the golden bib wearer, Marion Haerty. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah. I love it. I love it. The veteran teaching the rookie the most important parts about a podium. Yoo-hoo. And the next category, the ski men. 3 people that are no stranger to the podium again. Former Freeride World Tour from 2012. Back up the top, Reine Barkered in 3rd place. Yoo! Don't forget your medal. Yeah, good thing that your line scoping's better than your understanding of directions. Your other left, bro. My man. In 2nd place, also out of Sweden, also a former Freeride World Tour champion, again gunning for a top spot, it's Christopher Turnell. Yee! It's a Swedish thing to forget your medal. Yeah, dude. Nice. And in 1st place, not yet a Freeride World Tour champion, but a Rookie of the Year, a former Golden Boot wearer, and he's back on top of the podium. It's Andrew Pollard! You! Yeah, boys. This is the gnarliest shoulder press ever for someone that's just recovering from a dislocated shoulder. Andrew Pollard back on top. How do you do this? Marion's going to have to teach someone else now. Again, the veterans teaching the rookies. He forgot he's wearing a mask. It's not a champagne-proof mask. That's lucky. Yoo! Cool, says Christopher Turnell. Quite nice. Rather all right. Very acceptable. And the last category of the day, the one that just went absolutely hammers. No matter what anyone else had done, didn't matter if you could just stay on your feet to get on the podium. Everyone was down to throw down, and it was so cool to see. 3rd place for the ski woman today, Tracy Chum! You! Nice, Tracy. You! And in 2nd place, taking your second place for the same amount of times in as many days, out of France, it's Juliette Willman! You. Yeah, Juliette. Welcome back. And today, after a heavy crash in the last competition, to come back and win it with her first ever 360 in a comp, it's Elisabeth Gerritzen! You! You! Très bon. Prop, prop, prop. It's a heavy, heavy, heavy trophy at the top. Yeah, girls. We have to, is the call on the champagne. Compulsory! Don't want to waste none, want to drink it all. Yeah, girls! Yeah! Nice. Don't go too far away, because there's 4 more people I want to get back up here. These are the people leading after 2 events, the 4 golden bib holders. I'm going to shout them out all in one go, and you can all come up here together. Please welcome Blake Moller, Marion Haerty, Micheal Oliver, and Juliet Willman. Woo! Blake wandering around, seems to have lost his snowboard. Welcome back. Yeah, welcome back. Juliet, come on up. Marion and Micheal. Micheal Oliver, the only one not to be on the podium today, but winning overall. You! French crew holding it down, 3 out of 4. You! Congratulations to the Golden Bibs. Whoop, 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 whoop. Allez, allez encore. Allez Frenchie, 3 out of 4. What's it gonna bring at the next stop in Fieberbrunn? Genepi is what it's gonna bring, say the Frenchies. So we wanna say a big thank you, a huge thank you to all the riders, all the staff, all the people that made this happen, Ordino Arcalìs, all the sponsors. We really appreciate being here and getting to get this event done. Big love goes out to all of you. And let's throw it back to Derek Foos in the commentary box. See you in Fieberbrunn!
All right. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Andorra. Thank you, Ordino Arcalìs, and to all of you for tuning in on Facebook, on freerideworldtour.com, on YouTube, and on Fuel TV. You guys got a show. We got a show here. We are so grateful to everyone involved for making this happen. Tough times here, but we are finding a way to get the Freeride World Tour off the ground. Huge thanks to you, and we'll see you all in Fieberbrunn.
Thank you.